Hey everybody, welcome to Buddy Check tonight. Um, Hope you're all in an okay, decent feeling place and that you're not here because you're upset. But hello, hello, Susan.
Hey, Susan. How's it going, everybody? You know what? It just dawned on me that I hadn't
Hey,
done yet because I've been running around like a maniac today. I have not reposted recently, so I should probably do that real quick.
reposting works. Yeah, we like to have people show up. Hope you've all been having a somewhat decent week
Yeah.
and month. It's been rather crazy for us. We're getting back into the swing of things here. Hello,
Yep.
Constance. And finding I've just been kind of a little overwhelmed, so I'm glad you're all here tonight because I can use some unwinding time.
Definitely. Yeah, that's much needed today. Much needed today.
Happy Sunday, Tom. Yeah, so this is Buddy Check for anybody who hasn't been here before. This is it. We're trying to do it as close to the 22nd of the month as we can every month for the 22 a day movement. It's and that movement is they discovered a few years ago that on average 22 veterans commit suicide a day in the United States, and we have friends who are vets. But even if you aren't a veteran, we just want people to have a place where they can come and hang out and get support, and we care about you. We
Uh,
like you. We follow you around. We stock your book to
why?
see how
Because we
you
love
were
you.
doing. Aw,
That's what
hugs,
we're here for today.
Constance. Yeah, we're here so you can just hang out and know that there are other people too that are going through things, and we care about you a lot. You're our friends, you're our followers.
Right.
We follow you
We're
back when we can.
like your virtual bartenders. That's what we're here for. Give us your woes.
Friday Blue, we've hit the last week before the move. I'm sorry to be done. Ugh, yeah.
It's
I I can't wait until I finally can afford to move out of where I am, but
same.
I'm
Same.
not looking forward to it at all because I've lived here since 2003 and it's a really shitty apartment,
Right.
but it's a really cheap apartment and with a lot of size,
Yep.
which unfortunately means that I have 20 years worth of accumulated shit and some other people's stuff because I had an invasion of the homeless for a while when I wasn't really home.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, that moving, when you
And
getting
then you got to the
everything packed
dresser
in.
people, and that's a whole other.
Oh yeah, dresser people. They're
Yeah.
they actually they're pretty good. They follow me wherever I go.
Okay,
It
that's good. That's
Yeah, it's kind of like Mad Scotter paranormal attraction. The dresser people just stick with me.
good.
7 people.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got to do 4 people and
that's
2 cats in hopefully the near future, and I'm not looking forward to that. And we're just in a hotel room with a small space and storage. I can't imagine like your situation, like 20 years ago stuff, or Jenny's situation with 7 people and all their stuff. Like my shit can
Jenny.
be
I
done
keep
one day.
forgetting that's Jenny's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of moving.
When we moved the last time we moved, like moved into that apartment we had there for a while. We had to do it. Well, you remember because you were talking to me about it. So like it was like within like a day or two notice of having to just go. And that man, we had a decent amount of stuff, and there was only 4 of us doing it. And my back was tore up, so I can only help so much. And I'm killing myself to do it. Actually they were really cool and let us keep the truck for like an extra day or two without having to pay extra. I don't know why they were nice, but they shouldn't have done it, but they did. And I'm very happy because it really helped. Because
Yeah, write a good review. You know.
oh, we did a big time with the customer service thing for it and everything because she was like really understanding about it because we got everything packed and out in one day. The next day, like I went back with my buddy Lucky, and we grabbed a couple small things that we had like very little was left, but almost all we packed in one night, and we started to unload everything. We got like I think maybe a third of it unloaded, and we were just so fucking exhausted. We're like, okay, we got to sleep with a little bit. It's not fun, man.
Yeah, the one thing that's cool for me with my landlord, like I can't drive. Y'all know I'm epileptic. Well, some of you do. Now there's some more of you do. Um, so for me to get rent dropped off, my landlord doesn't accept a credit card. He's just like a guy who owns a gun shop in an apartment building. And I think he rents a couple of houses out too. But I can't get over to the gun shop. And so it's like, I'll go. I was the first tenant when he bought the building. I was the first person he had moved in. He had people already living here, but
Okay,
he had two open apartments. So I was his first official, his tenant.
gotcha.
And I had the years where I was struggling to get on disability and different things were helping pay, but he never has charged me a late fee on
That's
paying. And so when it's hard for me to get there, like I showed up last month and paid through this month and was just like, hey, so sorry, here's 3 months rent. So I'm paying like 1 month ahead and 2 months back. And he's like, I never worry about you.
that's
You always get it to me. I know it might take, but I mean, it's also his gun shop it's too far to walk, but it's not very far to drive. So if he knows if he needs it, he could always just show up at my door and I could just shoot him out a check. So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
that's nice to have.
That's
But
good to have that kinda wiggle room, that's nice.
yeah, well, in 20 years, I'm the longest term 20. This is the longest I've lived anywhere. And I've lived here the entire time. I've been like the one constant since he's owned the place.
Gotcha.
But
I
I'm
think
just always
I
here.
feel like the longest I lived anywhere was the house that I grew up in when we that one that we had to leave for because of the paranormal stuff when I was 9. It's the longest I've ever lived in any one location is 9 years.
I I've established that I have now lived here longer than my mother has lived anywhere, and at one point, and yeah, it's not like mom's going to be dying anytime soon or anything, but she's
Right.
looking towards maybe downsizing her house now that my grandparents aren't with us anymore. So eventually, she's probably going to move again, and so I'll have. I think I will have lived for the longest at any one point other than like my grandparents, who like 50 years on the farm.
That was different because, like, when you like, back in that day, if you had a place, that was just your place for all of eternity, like, unless, like, something crazy happened, like, you just that was it.
Yeah. And Constance, I am sorry that you've been depressed. I think it's going around. Not to lessen your issues at all. No, it's
Right.
it's been a crazy month, I
It
think.
really has, man. It's just been stupid weird, and the weather has been stupid weird everywhere too, like,
Oh yeah.
God, we were in the 70s, like, a lot through the winter, like, random days, like, it didn't even get that bad, like, but a couple snowstorms we thought we were gonna get wrecked with, and then at the last second, like, we got not a lot, and it was only bad for, like, a day or 2, like, twice, and then all of a sudden, spring starts hitting, and we're back down to freezing temperatures. It snowed a little bit yesterday, and I think the day before, like, and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening right now?" And, like, I should have already be out, like, doing things in the outside world or something, like, it's crazy, man.
Well,
Just
you know
takes
how
emphasis
Lincoln
and
has
depression.
for those of you who don't know, I can't I think it's the 55th Weather Battalion or something like that is stationed in Omaha. And I'm in Nebraska. I'm in Lincoln. And so they joke that they can control the weather because based on how Nebraska is set up, we're plains, but there's like Lincoln is kind of in a dip. We don't really have hills or anything. It's not like a major dip. Like you drive the interstate by us and you don't even notice.
Right.
But
And it generates its own internal wind that blows against anyone from any direction trying to enter the area, I found out. That was super weird.
yeah, so storms will come and they split around us, and we call it the cone of safety that Lincoln has. And then the Omadrome or the Omadome, depending on what they want to call it. I'm with an Omadome myself. They joke that they can control the weather because the storms will start coming towards Omaha and break up and go around them as well. It's a really weird phenomenon.
Yeah.
And we also in Nebraska do not actually have a climate. We just borrow the one from whatever state is closest to us at the time that has something
Right?
going on. But yeah, our weather has been. My mom kept her catnip alive all weekend, all winter. she's been like taking it out a couple days, but then it snows all of a sudden. Yeah. I
I
do
know.
not know what to do with my heating. I'm like,
It was weird 'cause, it's been almost exactly 11 months ago since we came to Nebraska on our way back from Colorado. The weird thing
mm,
was, it was actually kinda nice towards you. And then when as soon as we started getting to Lincoln, the wind started, and it destroyed like, we get really good gas mileage in our current vehicle. It destroyed our gas mileage, like, gutted it, like, probably halved it damn near. And we finally get in, and, like, there's this, like, windstorm thing happening, and we're outside having a cigarette, and there's a guy next to us, and we're all at these metal tables and chairs. It literally lifted the table up on this guy, spilled his food and his drink everywhere, and then after it flipped, it caught the chair and the table and, like, shot it like down, like it moved it quite a bit. And we were just like, That's heavy and metal. Holy shit.
yeah, that's downtown Lincoln. We because we're flat and it's very windy around here. Oh, and I have a thing for that in a second. Um, but the couple hills we do have, like I used to ride my bike into work at one point in time, and that it, it's a slight incline going down, but I would be like standing up, pushing the pedals to go against the wind, my hair this flying behind me, or if I'm walking downtown sometimes because of the way that the buildings go, and like I said, it forms wind tunnels, my hair will like beat me to the corner by a good couple steps, and I can't see anything. I have to have it pulled up when I'm going
And then Dell
around. Yeah.
becomes the flying nun.
But so here's something. Somebody took we have a it's crane season right now, and out uh closer to where Colorado out where when you were coming through, you probably saw something about the Sandhills cranes.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, they come through every year and they stay here for a while, and they're here right now. And I used to work at a restaurant called Crane River, and they had like the bar was built from rocks that they dredged up from the Platte River, like all
that's
natural. It was huge. It was awesome. But every year when the cranes would come in, our side work would include like making 100 origami cranes a piece. And then we would tie them to a fish line, put a penny on them, and throw them up so that the penny would catch on the boards on the roof, the ceiling,
yeah.
and we would hang cranes. And that part I don't miss. But somebody took a picture today and was like, it's crane season, and showed all the cranes and like the sandhills and some corn in the background. They were like, it's Nebraska, green, sand, corn, And somebody put as a reply, and this is something I didn't know about. Like I've heard of big pharma and big tech and stuff, but somebody was like, "Yeah, wait until big wind gets a hold of it. Then
Yeah.
we're going to be doing like nothing because we're a plane, and you know how much wind we get."
Well, I mean, it's already started because the first time when Michelle and I got married and we went down to Colorado and back, we noticed a decent amount of like, like wind farms and stuff. This time going down, it seemed like the wind and the solar farms like had doubled on the way there, and then actually coming your direction, they extended a lot farther, like towards Nebraska than they had the last time, we had come home that way. So
Yeah,
like
we
it
have
really
like
seems
two.
like it's like the ones that like right across the border were like bigger, like it almost doubled in size. Like, it was crazy. Like, and we were hitting some of it at night. Like on the way in to Colorado, like on the way there, we hit a lot of those at night. And like it's creepy at night going through the wind farm, like going through the roads where the wind farms are, because there's like not a lot of sound, and all you see at first from a distance is just the red occasional lights. It's not until like you're driving through to they're on the either side of you, that, like you see the shadow of the blades moving, and you're like, that's fucking creepy.
There's two in Lincoln, and I swear to God, I thought there were three, and so does my mom. And like when we drive from Lincoln to Omaha, we're always like, for 2 years, we were like, weren't there three? I swear there were three, but I don't know if we just side slipped into a slightly different dimension,
Yeah.
or if there actually were three, because we both remember it vividly.
Yeah, right on the border of Colorado, like coming in from Colorado and everything, like the ones that are there that just like expanded, like they were just huge. And it was just so surprising to see it expand that quickly. And then the center of the whole new green energy movement is being centered in Ohio now, according to the government. So they're trying to make just outside of Columbus, so how about an hour from me, and partially Dayton as well, where I live. This like new like green future, like a green version of Silicon Valley, basically, is what people are calling it. And they're already buying up factories, revitalizing. It's really crazy, super crazy, man.
If you guys want to talk about something other than turbines and stuff like that, by the way, hop in
We
the
just talked about
comments.
random
Just
shit, yeah,
we're just squirreling away on whatever's going on.
yeah. It's a squirrel shit.
It's
That's part of the therapy.
been cold and then hot some days in Oklahoma. The state can't make its mind. Yeah, you guys are kind of Midwest still, aren't you? I think Oklahoma.
Ish.
It well Bible Belt transformed. And I'm not
You
sure
know,
if that's.
here's what I know about Oklahoma. I know that in
I'm.
Oklahoma, the wind comes sweeping down the plains, and that's about as far as that song I've ever gotten.
I can't hold the O that long.
Yeah. Oklahoma.
Okay, yeah. People are like, they tell Nebraska, they're like, you're not part of the Midwest, you're
Yeah.
the plains. And we're
I was.
like,
Oh
we
yeah.
are a plain. However, we are also part of the Midwest.
I literally was doing a video chat. I do like these group panel things, like research studies sometimes, and someone from California was like, "So is Ohio technically Midwest, or is it technically because it's so close, just part of the East Coast?" I'm like, "Well, we are technically the Midwest, but you are right in that we are on the eastern side of the Midwest, and it does not take long to drive to the eastern coast from here. But technically,
Yeah. I need to travel. Well, actually, I'm going out. I need to go to Laughlin, Nevada,
oh,
Arizona,
I've
whichever one
never
it
been out
is.
that way yet."
We're, it's cold randomly. I am not gatekeeping state. Yeah, we last time we left, I went to Laughlin last month,
Yeah,
and when we left, there were 10 and a half inches of snow on the ground in Omaha, and we land in like 70-degree weather. So that was really nice. Getting to do it again. It's awesome that my mother like gambles because we get we get to go together. And actually, it paid for all of uh, the clutch this year, my last
yeah,
trip. Um, but she gets these trip things offered, and it's like we get a charter flight out for both of us and a room for both of us, like two queen size beds, and for like 4 days for $288. It
that's
costs more
awesome.
to like, yeah, it costs more to board the dog than it does for me to come with on the trip.
Right.
So, and this time we're gonna go see Death Valley. We can go out and there's like a bunch of little casinos on the strip there. It's just like the tiniest Vegas you can imagine. Like 5 blocks of Vegas is the whole town
Right.
or something. Maybe I think they have like
I
seven or
wanna
eight
go
other
down there for
casinos.
the horror stuff because they just expanded like, horror has always been in Vegas, right? Like, always. But they've been expanding it, like, tenfold. Like, they just announced the new It Chapter 1 Escape experience there recently, they just announced it there. And then Universal, the theme park, bought a big area down there and are basically gonna do a 24/7, like, 365 day a year version of Halloween Horror Nights there. They're just there all the time. So I'm like, I'm really excited to come down there. They have one of the biggest productions of Evil Dead the musical, which I've seen in person a couple times, but like their production is like even bigger, and I want to see it. I've just never been out that way.
It Constance says I can't wait for May Texas Frightmare. Just got 2 months left before I don't have to work until the next school year. Love working for a school.
That's awesome.
I, I South by Southwest or that would be something that I would consider going into Texas for. But Texas has just never been one of my states that I've been like, oh, damn, I need to be there.
I want to go one because
It,
Michelle's from Texas, so she was born in Texas too. Kyle lives in Texas, right? Kyle, that's where he lives,
oh,
and I
nice.
kind of want
Oh,
to
yeah, no, I
see
knew
her
that.
and
Yeah.
say hello. Yeah, that's it. Just to say hello and see where she was born. That's about it. That's the only reason I want to go.
Yeah, and it takes, like 30 hours to drive across Texas. You
Right, but
you can make it across China
one of
faster
our
than you can
big
make it across.
trips that we've been planning for like 2 or 3 years now until shit got bad. We were finally gonna do it, and then shit got fucked up. Was the Route 66 trip, and you go through a little bit of Texas on that. So we're hoping that, yeah. And plus, the guest we have on Campfire for next Sunday lives in Texas, Kristen Sikorsky.
We
She's
had we hit summer Route 66 when we
nice.
were on our last trip because what did we go see last time? Sedona. And so that was really pretty. If you
I was
ever
about
end
to
up near
mention you too,
Livingston,
Jenny.
let me know. And yeah, in Constance, you should come up and hang with me, Raz. Love to meet you in person.
Hell yeah. I'm just as me and stoned as I am in real life. I promise.
He is. Yeah, he showed up here and I got to take him to Henry Rollins.
I mean,
It
that
was
was
very
transcendent,
awesome.
man. That was a transcendent experience. It
Yeah,
was.
if you're ever bummed out, listen to Henry Rollins. He will like energize the shit out of you.
I'm still constantly thinking about like every aspect of that show. Like again, it's been like almost exactly 11 months, and still it's like fresh in my brain.
Yeah, I've seen him live twice at the same place, and
And that place was
yeah,
cool
I
to see
mean,
too because it was very personal, and I
yeah,
really liked that about it. Like it was awesome. That place was awesome.
I used to work there.
Yeah, you told me about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were talking about the hauntings and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. I
I
thought you meant Henry Rollins for a minute there. I was like,
was like, I just
wow, really? I thought, yeah, that was a cool
yeah,
place. It's
smoking means I'm less stabby, so that's why I smoke so much.
oh stabby.
I can say
Oh,
it, I just can't type it on Facebook without getting reported, apparently.
oh, I better not do that. I have had people. I It's funny because I lost my Facebook account, but I was never told why. And
Yeah.
I never post anything political. I
And we
never
tried
post
everything to get your
anything.
account back too, like
We
everything that I could think. I went deep in message boards and shit looking for obscure shit.
oh
Still nothing.
you, me, and like three other people
I
were
know,
working
dude.
on
Like,
it and never got it back. Lost all the shit. Really depressed about it. But then like all of my friends are like, I'm in Facebook jail for 3 days for this. My posts will be lowered because of this. I can't enter a chat because of this. And it's like, what? They
I,
at
I,
least they
I got in
tell you,
trouble for
but
saying the word stab, stab, stab. Just the words. I didn't say necessarily that I was going to do it to anyone specifically, but it was like, bam. And I'm like, really? I can't wait till
yeah,
Slasher is on PC. Like, it's just on phones right now, but as soon as it goes over to PC, I'm primarily probably going to be ditching most of Facebook.
yeah, I have to I don't know. I watch everything that I say because I don't want to lose Facebook again. Because if I do, I'm not building again. I'm
Yeah,
just
I've gone
done.
through and I've had the same one forever, and they hit me up. Somebody got upset that I wasn't using my real name, even though it's technically my DBA name legally, and complained to Facebook like 6 or 7 no, it wasn't even that long ago. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And like Facebook went through and made me change my name to my real name. Made me like had to have a copy of my and at that point in time I hadn't thought to like back up and save everything. So now of course everything that's on there I've got like plenty of copies of at this point. So if it ever goes away, I'm just gonna be like,
I The thing about TikTok, I can't keep up with TikTok. Like
same.
it's uh, it's so weird how like some people have the concentration for these little short things over and over and over, and that's how the kids were raised, I guess, is what we're calling it these days. Like featuring, everything comes in short little bites.
Yeah.
I need
It's
more.
just an issue.
I need more in-depth stuff. And so that and all the different things that people do on TikTok give me seizures. So
Well, half of it's just shit that I don't know.
I,
Like as
I
an
don't
adult
get
now,
it.
it makes me feel uncomfortable to even
Yeah, we talked about one
much.
time there
Yeah,
was
it weirds me out. So I just really don't pay attention. Now, if a friend of mine makes a TikTok and sends me a video, I'll watch it. Of course, I'll watch it. But I'm not really on it a lot. Yeah, see, Jenny does my TikTok for me. I haven't had a chance to sit and do that. I'm so behind and deadlines. Man, one day I'm gonna be
yeah.
productive.
I
I've been more
need I
productive
need
lately.
I need to do some video trimming.
I
I Oh, that's what okay.
I've
They're
still got to
mainly
finish
being
recording
attacked
and
because of
editing the
how
show for next Sunday, the pre-recorded. I haven't even finished it yet.
they're mainly being attacked because of how popular they are and how well they're doing. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, TikTok
And
also treats its users not fantastic, especially the horror community. The horror community folks get like we get tagged randomly for shit and like temporary bans and all kinds of stuff, man. It's crazy.
And see, one of
A lot
my
of cosplayers are
friends,
switching out.
Brad, he is always like, don't use TikTok because it's basically supporting the Chinese government. I don't know about any of that
I
stuff.
have, yeah, I don't know a lot about it either. I've heard that, but I've never, I don't use it really, so I don't really pay attention.
Yeah, and I just noticed on
Slasher's awesome.
is it Sleepless Watchdogs? I can't remember the
Yeah,
Reddit
yep, Space
community.
Watch Dogs, yep.
Yeah, they've been getting notices for TikTok lately that a lot of TikTok 2 users are doing what Facebook users did and are
Slash
stealing people's
YouTubers.
stories, narrating them, and not giving credit back and not asking to begin with or
We
paying
actually went
for
through this
them.
with Facebook. We went through it like huge through YouTube just a couple years back. Like that one was particularly nasty, the YouTube battle.
Oh yeah, and
I'm
it's
having to
it's
do it on
ongoing.
and the thing for me, like, it took me forever to get used to YouTube existing and being a thing, and I still sometimes, for some reason, forget about YouTube. Just forget about it. So, like, to have
That's
another
weird.
thing I gotta pay attention to is just it's a lot. All these social
I
I have an Instagram account, again, that's Jenny, but I don't actually I posted one thing on Instagram, and I made this account because I was at this amazing music festival, and Swisher Sweets was there, Swisher Company, and they said, "We'll give you a T-shirt and all this free Swisher, like, all these free Swishers if you" have an Instagram and take this photo with it over here in this booth and hashtag it with this. I'm like, a ton of free shit. Okay. So I literally made an Instagram account that day years ago just to do that and never once did anything with it.
I have more followers on Instagram and TikTok than I do on Twitter, and I have never posted a single thing in Instagram or TikTok.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, okay, but I think it's because I follow a lot of people that I follow are professionals, so it's just one of those courtesies they just automatically follow back kind of thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
That's what it was
because
like with Twitter and me. And even Twitter, I got tired of Twitter and I haven't screwed with Twitter in years. For the longest time before my accounts got screwed up, my Twitter got hacked and I just never felt like fucking with it. But before that, I just had it linked to my Facebook. So I typed anything on Facebook, it would just cross post automatically for me to Twitter. So I didn't actually I had a Twitter, but I just wasn't actually doing anything on it. I wasn't logging
yeah,
in.
I don't take selfies and I don't take many other pictures, so I don't know if you guys want to help me with like what you do on Instagram other than post pictures of things. I don't know how to
That's
use
what
it
Facebook was for.
because yeah, people are like, oh, I'm going like people older than me, which I'm not saying that they should be tech stupid. My dad's a tech guy, and he's
Yeah.
obviously older than me. Um, but they're all like, yeah, we're moving everything over to Instagram. It's like, but how does that work?
Let's just bring MySpace back into the bucket. I mean, it
Oh,
still
it's
exists.
still there. I have 59 subs on Rotten Daughters and 12 subs on Rotten Gaming on YouTube, so I'm trying to grow both of those. Yeah, it's you have to remember, and I always feel like a dick when I'm trying to promote myself, but you have to. And on all the anything on YouTube, just put please hit subscribe and game. Or subscribe and game,
It's more than that too. Like,
subscribe and
you gotta do
follow
that,
and
but
stuff.
you have to align yourself with groups that, like, cross promote each other a lot. Like, that's one of the big keys is, like is that sort of thing because, like, okay, say take BBDC, for example. If one of us does something, we all have a very different group of, like, online friends and online reach, right? So if one of us does something and we all put it out there, like, because we always do for each other's stuff, that's a lot of eyes. Like, so it's easier to build numbers when you have that, like, that sort of community build. It's really helpful. And it's not even just that, like, I know people that just do Twitch gaming that I'm friends with, and I get people, they throw people my way, I throw people their way because it's different. It's not what I'm doing, it's a different thing. So you reach these other people that have different built-in communities, and you just kinda, you work together.
Oh my god, I like the same thing so many times in one day. It's scary.
This is
Or like people who and thank you, Jenny. I'll pull it back up again. 5-minute videos, pictures with text. So basically shit that I don't do.
yeah.
All right. I know not to use well, not to I'll try to figure out how to use it at some point.
Oh, yeah.
If you've been watching Rich Davis, Velvet Joker, his he has gotten huge. Like I think he said the other day he had like 125,000 views. And he's only been doing this for I don't think that long.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's crazy when you have all, like you're saying, with all the connected people, especially because we're connected to other groups too. So it's
Yeah, I
like,
mean, we get people
you
from
know,
their
if they're posting
podcasts
our
and
stuff, they
networks.
post our stuff. And so it's
Yeah,
just like, I'll sit around and just hit like or heart for 3 hours now as I scroll through every single share that's been put somewhere. Because, quick thing, unless they changed it with Facebook algorithms, if you really want to help your friends, put up a heart instead of a like, and
yeah.
it raises them higher on the platform.
It's the wow emoji right now on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's how
And
dumb it is. Like, I don't
thanks,
understand that.
Jenny.
Like, that's is nuts. But I always have to pay attention to it for like haunt stuff and other things, like to know what people have to do.
I promote on here mostly, and then plan on doing business cards for Rotten Daughters, but I really want to get my books published so I can spend more time with my kids. It never ends. Yeah, there's a there's always something. Always one more thing you can do better, or one more little thing you can add somewhere.
Yeah,
Um, and business cards, yeah, we need to do those.
yeah.
I
I've
need to
got
get some
really
done.
nice, beautiful
You
business cards.
do.
Oh man, I love his work, and he's local. He's been my friend since I was 12. It dude does amazing work. He does entire shit at cons too. It's oh my god, I know the name of his company. Emmanuel Graphics is his like local printing company. I have to look. I have to actually look up the name of his con company right now. It's like it's Star Trek-ish. I'll remember it in a minute. I'll remember it in a minute. Warp Speed
All
Printing.
right.
That's what it is. It's Warp Speed Printing. Like he
Work
does
speed.
like
Awesome.
entire like convention booth setups. Like dude's amazing. And Lucky is one of I think either one of the only or the only I think person that's licensed to print on actual Legos in North America. So
Very
he does
nice.
crazy shit, and it cost me less to buy 1,000 business cards from him than it did through Vistaprint with shipping and everything. And his cards are double sided. They don't say Vistaprint on them like Vistaprint does, and they're fucking badass, man. And he actually designs your shit and everything.
That's very cool.
I guess I was
Yeah.
plugging him, but not intentionally. I really love like
Oh,
he's my brother and he does good shit.
yeah. We aren't here to advertise tonight, but we're giving out plugs whenever
Yeah.
we get.
When we think about
We we
when
do
they're
what we
relevant,
want.
when they're relevant.
We Yes.
You and Evan.
We like the old pub in downtown Lincoln. If you'd like to show up sometime on a Wednesday night, say hi to Danielle for me. I haven't been in a while.
This show not brought to you by Mountain Dew.
So yeah, it's been a busy time lately. Uh I overstep my fandomness every now and then. I recently realized that, and since we don't work with any of them, you can read comics online.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I
This is how
There
I
there
used to
was
be a
some sites
comic
I
book
used to
collector.
use. I know, like, the Marvel Unlimited had a thing, but, like, I didn't know about some of the stuff that you told me about until you learned it and told me about.
Yeah. Whenever I would have people that suggest comics to me, I was just like, they'd give me like, oh, and torrent it here, and I was just like, oh, I don't like I'm not comfortable torrenting really.
I do some
Um,
things usually if I've already owned it at one point in time. You know what I mean? Like, especially if it's something I've owned several times and lost for one reason or another, I don't feel bad about it. But, yeah. But I was getting
but
PDFs for the longest time, and reading a comic book in a PDF is not fun, and it's work.
no. Yeah, so I found these, I watch a comic book uh podcast, and I try to keep up with them as an audience member.
Yeah,
And so hosts are nice, and they're like, "Hey, this is what we're reading." Actually, I was a guest on there. It's Splash Pages. You
yeah.
can look them up on Facebook and stuff. I guested on there for one episode, and then this week they're doing, like, they do just short little reads, and they talk about like comic book news and everything. But then there's the comic of the week, and they kind of go through the whole thing and discuss different parts and everything. And the one for this week is 6 issues, but it's at the end of a series. It's like a crossover at the end of it's the Injustice versus He-Man. And I've never read the Injustice comics by DC.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, I need to read that." I was told, "No, dude, you don't understand. That there's a lot of them. There are a lot of them." And I was like, "Psh, I'm all good." Um, I have read over 200 of them now in the past 3 days, and I still have, like, about 60 more to go, something like that.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I
Huh,
read, like, 60 some the first night. I because there's, like, um, Year Zero is a prequel, uh, then there's years 1 through 5, then there's a Harley Quinn one that shows the whole thing from her point of view, and that's, Ground Zero. And then there's Injustice 2, which is like 70 some issues plus two, and a bunch of these come with annuals to go with them too. And so it's like my goal by Tuesday to have read the entire Justice series, every spin-off, everything to do with it.
nice. I've been
So
doing that
yeah.
with an exceedingly long book series lately myself called, was it it's the Nate Temple series by Shane Silvers. Super nice guy, awesome author, but, like, dude, there's, like, a stupid amount of books. Like, there's actually 3 series that all intertwine, and there's, like, I think almost, like, 40 books at this point, and I'm finally getting to the point now where I've only got a couple left in this series, and I've only been reading, like, maybe a year or so. 'Cause if you guys don't know, I usually read multiple books simultaneously, so I've been reading other books along with
Yeah.
trying to read through this whole series, and it's my first run through, so it's been great. But it sucks you in, man. You get in the story, you just wanna keep going.
Yeah, that's the like I'm used to read I feel uncomfortable if I don't read at least like 20,000 words a day. It's a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
But I've kind of figured it out and I work on balancing it, just reading, even if it's just crap, so that I
Yeah,
get in my read time so that my brain has its time to sort itself out the way it's supposed to. And
yeah.
with comics, that's a lot faster. So it was like, you read
It's
how many
normal.
in one day? And I'm like, oh, 60 the first day. I'm like,
Yeah,
you don't understand how much I read on a regular basis. And
I
comics
know,
are just click.
people
I
'cause
mean, admire the artwork, click, click,
people don't
click.
read the I hear that, like, it's the shittiest thing to hear from an author. Like, most of my family and my friends are just like, "Yeah, I don't read. Let me know if there's an audiobook."
I
And I'm just
know.
like, or if you can read it to me, and I'm just like, "Fuck, man." It's depressing to hear that, but it's true. Fewer people read these days.
Yeah, I most of my family won't read anything I write. I'm fine with
And
that. They
yeah.
don't need to. Um, oh, good coincidence.
I've actually been thinking
And
about rereading that again too, the
those are
TV
good.
Shotgun thing.
And Jenny is missing more lately. Firebrand by JD Astor. I don't know what that is. You have to help me.
It's a book.
Oh,
'Cause we're talking about, I mean, I'm assuming it's a book, we're talking about books. I'm actually, like, so I'm reading,
yeah.
I forget, I have
Okay.
to look at which one the Nate Temple books I'm reading, but I'm listening to an audio drama podcast I'm in love with called Unwell, and it takes place out in Avalon, Ohio. It's one of the creepiest, most interesting, like, story podcasts I think I've ever heard before, and I listen to weird shit. This one has just got me, man. I don't know why, but it's got me. It's comedy, horror, drama, it's crazy shit.
I oh, that would be JD Astro's first book in the Viridian Gate series.
Nice.
Nice. I need to get to writing more. Stop reading,
Me
but
too.
not until I finish all of my
Me too.
comics.
I'm in the
Yeah,
middle of, you remember the Jim's Cabin microfiction I used to write about the guy that lived in the cabin, turned out he was a cannibal and all that crazy shit? I decided to write a part 3 for Jenny for a newsletter, and I'm over halfway through it. But I have, like, my short story collection, like, a little less than half the stories now I still have to write, and that deadline is, like, in, like, a month and a half or so. It's coming up real quick,
I
and I'm
yeah.
on it right now.
I love sitting there and being like, "Oh, I got, like, 5 months for this. I'm not worried at all. Oh, shit,
Yeah,
it's
and then
next
suddenly
month. Oh, it's tomorrow."
I, spaced on an anthology for Fake Horror, and Penny's like, "Yeah, I didn't think you wanted to join it. I know you were pumped, but you didn't say anything." And I was like, "Holy I had planned to join this, like, the whole time." And that's when I sent you that was like a beauty blog kinda thing, but it was for skinwalkers, like,
Mhm.
that whole thing, like, and I just I actually ended up writing. I got like inspired and wrote over the course of like 2 or 3 days, like the whole thing, like edited, done. And now my brain is dead again. 'Cause, for some reason, with all the moving around, the hotel stuff, and Nano, my brain just died. After Nano, my brain just died. Like the ability to write was just gone there for a while.
I've
Always
never
and school.
I've never done nano. I tried once and I was like, I can't deal with the first rule of not editing your own stuff as you do
That
it.
was the hardest year 1 of doing it, that was the hardest thing for me to overcome, but, I mean, I have done it, like, 7, 8 years now, and I've won every year. I don't know how, like, some years I've ended up with almost 80K. Some years I've gotten, like, 50,000 in 2 words, like, I barely just squeaked over it, but, like, I get so much done during that time to challenge myself, but what I end up doing some years, like this year, is all it does is I do it, and I make it, but then I'm burned out. So this year was a burnout year for me, which really kinda screwed me up in the long run, but it means I got a lot done for this short story collection, and I got a lot done, more done on Mountains Crimson 2 for this year, so that was it was useful, it just the burnout afterwards wasn't great.
Yeah, I found like when I started getting back into writing stuff, I initially decided I was just going to start like I when I go into editing mode, um I read really bad fan fiction.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you told me that.
specifically really bad I read some good fan fiction, but I pull up some specifically bad stuff so that I catch all of the words that people mess up frequently
Yeah,
and the uses of them or the various spellings of them.
right.
And especially because one of the authors that I've worked with is from a different country and English is not his first language, but he writes in English. And so the way things are phrased sometimes sentence structure wise goes different.
Yeah,
Um, but when I decided I was going to get into writing again, um, back way back when, I started writing fan fiction and I got out 50,000 words in like 4 days
yeah,
or something. It was insane. But then you go to write, your own stuff and it's just like, I got out 400 words today and I am so proud of me. You know, I just everybody gets it.
yeah, oh, yeah, and,
You
like,
guys have all been there.
I did find one project I'm able to write on with no problem, and that's, the Hunter's Handbook thing. So if you guys don't know, we've talked about it a little bit, but and there's an ad we have an ad running around for it, but starting this month, and it would usually be the 3rd Sunday, which is now, but we did, like, kind of a switcheroo for this month. Um, so this coming Sunday, you're gonna hear the first ever episode of, The Hunter's Handbook. It's an Owlite special production thing we're gonna do where we're doing an actual audio drama now, and this is like if you've ever heard of these things, Tales from the Gas Station meets John Dies at the End. That's like the kind of vibe. It's horror, but it's comedy. It's weird, bizarre. I guess it's bizarro fiction. It would be a good way to put it. But for some reason, anytime I sit down to that, I can just write like
Nice.
hours. It's really easy and it's comfortable and it's fun. I just need to be able to get that back for the rest of the shit. Hey, Slippy. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Never mind. Slippy's not in here. But if he was, I'd be saying hello. Sorry, I have scary face going on for some reason. I went to look up and I accidentally hit the scurry face tab instead of StreamYards. I saw Slippy's name pop up and I was like, wait a minute.
We got
What?
to meet Demon Willie just showed up here though.
Oh yeah, hey,
Um,
hey, how's it going?
okay, so Constance is getting a new podcast going over on your YouTube channel. It's a video podcast of Lady Grey reading my story series I've been writing, so I'm busy doing it.
Nice.
That's fun. I've noticed some people get like we were just saying, you get really burnt out with the writing,
Yeah.
but sometimes getting yourself super busy with doing everything just makes it so that, if
Yeah.
you want something done, give it to the busiest person and they'll just knock it out of the park.
Right. I get like that, like where I'm like I'm
I'm
busy all the
just not
time,
built
but I'm
that way.
motivated, and then I'll do like 20,000 projects in like a day or two, and then I start losing focus. Something bad happens, and then I was on top of it, and then the next day I'm just like, and then for a week I'll sit down, I'll try and do at least one or two of the things I need to do, and I'll end up doing like half of like 10 different things, not finishing one of them. That's where
How's
I've been.
everything going tonight, Willie? I hope you're doing good.
Hey, Willie.
We're just chilling. Yeah, I don't know. I want to make sure I don't get burnout. But when I get overwhelmed when I have to fill out like paperwork
Yeah,
and
yeah. Oh
stuff,
my god.
and so I'm like, I'm avoiding typing anything at all or clicking on things or whatnot.
Yeah. Sorry, we had to open the window. We're trying to avoid a room fire alarm, not a whole hotel fire alarm right now. Which would.
Yeah, for those of you who might have been watching the other night,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah.
I just
Lovely
tuned in
assistant.
when that happened.
Sorry, I had to call for a Mountain Dew. I just called him. Whoever I'm looking at is my lovely assistant. It could be Matt, it could be
Hi,
Brooklyn, it could be
Nadine.
Michelle, but yeah, yeah. Matt's dice rolls were so on par for his character sheet rolling for a new D&D show that he just set the fire alarm off somehow. That's what we went. That's what we decided was the problem anyway. I still don't know what actually happened. Hey, Nadine.
Yeah, it's like, let me know when you're okay, bro.
I didn't
He's
see that
broadcasting
because
it.
like
Yeah.
everything was going on. Like then, like we're like, okay, we're gonna restart in like 45 minutes. I'm like, okay, so I had to do a bunch of shit. I got back on, and then we started streaming again. And then I was able to bring up Facebook and saw like a message from you and like Jenny and like a couple other people. And I'm just like, so I just said it on the show, like I'm alive. We're back.
Well, I wasn't sure if you were going back on or not. So then when you did, I was like, oh, I gotta get on and watch.
Yeah, they
And
wanted to get at least like about half the sheets done, just make it a little bit easier. And it worked out that way too. We got to get half of them done, so make the next one a little easier.
yeah, and it taught um everybody like what's going on. You were able to
Yeah,
pass
yeah.
on.
I had to go slower
Thanks
pace.
for having Odd Father there too. You didn't have
Oh,
to worry about.
that was so helpful because he helped us on their end with things along a little quicker, but it also gave me the time to explain. So now the next show, I won't have to spend as much of it doing a lot of the explanations because we've already been through a lot of that. Which also, I mean, that helped. He helped tremendously, man. That was amazing.
Yeah, it might not sound like fun, but seriously, watching people making their characters and the, oh, what are you gonna roll? Oh, are you gonna
I'm a
stick
sucker
that
for
stinker of
character.
a
I
roll
would
and
watch a
stuff?
whole
It's
show for an
fun.
eternity that was just people creating characters. I love that aspect of the games. I don't know. I always have.
So like the 3 weeks before I start DMing anything, when I'm rolling every single NPC that they could possibly encounter in the first 3 months and
Mhm.
giving them their own gear and things. I'm
Oh,
that guy.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the
I
DM where
I'm for parts like I plan a lot. Like I've learned over the years that you cannot plan too much because the second you officially plan too much is the definite moment where one of your players has somehow decided in the back of their mind they're going to do everything they can on purpose just to fuck with you to screw your campaign up. So what I do is I spend about half the amount of time I was used to. Like still, for me, half the time is like a million years for a normal person, I guess. So I still do a lot of planning, but then when I get to the game, I spend 50% just like flying by the seat of my pants. Like it's all improv. Like I know you guys are not going to want to do what I have set up. So how can I do what you want to do without you realizing that it's all leading you back to where you need to be?
yeah, I'm so glad we're getting back in again because I have been without a game for over a decade,
Yeah, and
and
we had that
that's
that
just
one server I
sad.
was trying to get you on, but like that it was kind of a broken server at the time. It was kind of hard to get things going. That server, like it still exists,
I'm still
but
on it. I just
it's a dead server now, unfortunately. Like we all still talk once in a while, but like all of our lives got so busy, and we all gamed. Most people on that server, we gamed together for like 2 or 3 years solid, and like made our own server because we were tired of like the politics and the bullshit, and it was great for a while. And then we opened it up to the general public, and a lot of players came in, and we got some people that just kind of ruined the game for all of us. So we made it
yeah,
tough.
I had a great situation where my SO and our roommates were all into D&D. So we all just play past the GM for different arcs
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
We used to
So
do that too.
it wasn't like every other game. It was like every other major arc, and then it would be like, okay, I can take it from here. I got it set up.
Yeah,
But we had things like fortress building was going on and
love that. I got
traveling the
books for that.
entire world. Get it? We got the books for all of it,
Hell
and so
yeah.
it was like, oh, it was awesome. Constance, the last time I played was back in high school in 2005. LOL. So I would have to start over completely. Just ignore release 4 and 5.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't talk about 4 at all. It didn't exist. Just pretend it didn't. And version 5 is cool for a lot of new players. It's bringing a lot of people to D&D. I just am very much against it for a lot of reasons. I'll let you do your own research, but I'm not a fan of 5 as a result of a lot of shadiness happening with the company that currently owns it. So
I
I
just
stick to
didn't.
3, 3, 5, and Pathfinder. Pathfinder is still cool though because it's an offshoot entirely. So
Not too good. Been up for 48 plus hours and stressed out about the move to Michigan. Also, it's possible that Team Pterodactyl might be going each other.
oh, it's
It's
very
more than
possible.
possible.
We're
It's
all getting
oh,
drawn probably. It's just a matter of what groups we're going to be in.
and I'm sorry that things haven't been good for you.
Much love, man.
Seems like there's a lot of moving going on,
A lot of people either
but
moving or in transit waiting to move. Yeah, it's that whole new
but
year, like waiting for the spring to, for everybody to start moving. I think spring to summer are the months when most people just like, okay, it's nice enough out. I can get some friends to come help me now, so let's get the fuck out.
I'd sing for you, but that would depress you more. Um, I I totally I got my headset and mic set up one night because we've all been joking about doing karaoke. Well, not joking. I
No, we
think we're
want to do
serious
it. Like
about
we
it.
legit want to, and a lot of people are wanting to do this. We just haven't had the time to schedule it and
it
do it. And it's hard for me to do
yeah.
it from here, to be honest. But I would a little bit.
Well, I like to I like to sing. I used to be pretty damn good at it. Like not crazy good, but I could hold my own.
I sing
And
in gifts for the chat.
I started recording myself on Audacity when I was listening to music and trying to sing with it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I sound so horrible.
If you guys go back and watch the opening, which is also the ad for Buddy Chat, that's the band that I toured with for a decade, and that's actually legit me singing that song in the background.
We have a lot of musician friends too.
I miss
So
them.
far, every member of the Clutch has been, or every guest on the Clutch has been, not only an author, but also a musician.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Hey, Shell,
Hey, Shell. Welcome to Buddy Check tonight. Hope you're doing okay. If not, we're here for you. We
always.
got this. I'll take everybody's stress with me to Laughlin and let it go in Death Valley, and it'll be fun.
Can I just scream in a bag or something and seal it and just send it to you? And then I envision like you going there and finding like a canyon or something and just open the bag, and then my screaming can be heard for like miles for like 10 minutes, and then
I think one of my favorite memes that I've seen in a while was one where it was like, I think I'm just gonna go hang out with the cicadas and just scream all day long.
yeah. Oh yeah, let me Pearl Jam.
Oh,
That sucks, man. I'm being told that I have to physically retire from it, and I'm ignoring that. That's it's medical advice, and I am staunchly ignoring it right now.
yeah, I need to get knee replacements at some point, and I just learned about sliding at
Oh,
haunts,
man, it's
which for those of you who aren't haunt people, um, because some our I'll call you fans. Our viewer base though is like there's a lot of haunt and there's a lot of literary people, and it kind of goes off on different sides of things. But
yeah,
the
yeah.
sliding thing, I loved it. You like just
It's cool shit,
run and
but
fall to the ground and slide, and they put metal on
there's a
stuff and
lot.
they put sparks, and then but it's like down, up, and move.
Some people don't do the sparks at all. They just do only the slide. Some people also do special gloves where they can actually use their hands to
Yeah.
spark as well. While it's an art, man. Like
Oh,
I've
I
seen
watched videos by
amazing
the
people.
OG, the guy who started it all,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and like how to do it properly, what kind of gear to get. And I'm kind of like,
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna get new knees in a couple of years, so why not sacrifice these for
I know this
for
guy
the greater good?
that built an electric grid in his haunt, right? And it was a metal surface, and he would run like it was always like slick, and he would like slide across it. But the way the grid worked, there was like electric arcs going on all around him as he was sliding in certain parts. This was like
So
over a decade. It was fucking breathtaking, dude. Like,
he's like
and it played
sliding through
music.
Tesla coils and shit.
I mean, and it like every time he would hit like a certain arc, it would play a note. So like he had lights that also went to the notes that were being produced by the sliding in the electricity. So it was like this musical thing, but it was in a haunt. I can even hardly describe it correctly, but like it blew my mind because everything sparked. no matter what you touched or what you did, like on the sliding portion of it. Of course, you couldn't, as a guest, enter that portion of it because that was dangerous. But like the way they did it, it was like it was a very clean plexiglass, and you didn't even notice that it was plexiglass because of the smoke. The fog kind of rolled in and made it seem like there was no separation between you and them, and they would just come running at you and slide, and you would think, "Holy shit, I'm about to get mowed over by these people." And then they'd hit the plexiglass wall like with a thunk, and you'd like jump. Well, I didn't, but like people would just jump out of their fucking skin as soon as they hit the plexiglass.
I can see it looks like it's terribly hard
Yeah,
on the body to get through
very,
there.
very. Most people I know only do it a certain amount of years before their knees start fucking up so bad. Like I don't know any people that have done it for like, the entirety of like a very long hunt career. They've had to go to do something else, or
I mean, I got bad knees as well, but I'm still going to found me forever haunt home.
yeah. I just do other stuff. I'm
This
old,
is
and
my
this is
Nadine.
my 29th season, more or less. I take some time off here and there, obviously, and just participate in going to hunt sometimes more than actually hunting. But like I've been doing this forever, man, and sometimes your body just doesn't want to do it. Like I had some times last year where I probably shouldn't have hunted last year, but my body's just like it's dead, but the show's going, so you have to be like I partially fell down the stairs our first night of the Christmas show. Got right up, put that sock puppet on my hand, and marched right in that hunt. I couldn't move as much, but like that sock puppet did a lot of work.
Yeah. I don't get to do too much with haunts because of the strobies, which
See,
are you said you don't have them, and I
mm,
know that there are
and
a couple other people who've chimed in don't have them. Oh,
the only flashing light we have is in our elevator, and it's like elevator lights that are a little bit like wonky. Like you get into like one of the old elevators, and the lights flash just a little bit, but not fast. It's kind of slow, and it's not really a pattern. And that's
yeah.
the only thing we have that's a little bit flashy. And you can just stand there and close. A lot of people just close their eyes if it bothers them. That's like the only spot in the whole hunt.
I've had two podcasters in the past week and a half try to kill me with strobes because what one was our darling Hexus who forgot that he had me on a show that he made the new intro for that was all
Yeah,
strobe.
yeah.
And then another was one that I was just watching that I'm a regular commenter on who got a new light that changes colors and stuff. And he was like trying to show off how fast it could go. And they're like, could you please try to not kill our guests or our watchers?
Right, right.
That'd
See,
be
mine don't do
great.
that too. Mine will go through like colors and stuff. I think I tried it a little bit like forever ago, but I just leave it on this usually now.
Okay. And Jen wants to know why are there not a character profiles for the hunters on the websites?
For which website? What are we talking?
Yeah, you need to if you're talking like Scurry Face, just go to the characters on there and try to find them on other.
Facebook,
Yeah,
right?
Facebook is the easiest.
TikTok, all that stuff.
Funny
If
thing,
you're
I
talking about
scared
our
my
stuff,
husband today
but
and ended up tripping over my dress and injuring my foot.
yeah.
Oh,
If you're talking PPDC stuff, I think it's because I'm the only like full time hunter. Like Akka does it. She started doing some travel hunting this year. I think she's gonna or last year. I think she's gonna try and do some of that this year. I think could be wrong about that, but she also did some hunt reviewing last year too. But I think I'm the only one of us that actually like full time basically lives in a day. I was just at the hunt today actually, and meeting with my freaks for the freak show. That went really well today. Excited about the season.
I have not found any. Look at East Coast Haunters.
Yeah, yeah,
They should
that's
have links to a lot of people, and then seriously, just hop on hop onto East Coast Hunters, hop onto PBDC. I don't know. I don't know if people
I
can
don't think
look
we
at
have
our
a lot of those.
followers. No, but if you can look at the followers, you can see.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
there's
there's
a
a lot.
lot of them there. Or if you
Those
friend
hunters
one
don't build
person,
websites. Like you
like
don't
if
really
you
build a website for that.
yeah, if you see like JD's website, JD Daniels,
Mhm.
um, I'm sh- I haven't actually looked at it. I've just friended
Oh,
him,
that's awesome.
but I'm sure there's going to have a list going there, and like Rainbow Twitch, a lot of them
Oh,
have,
yeah,
you know, just stalk a haunter and friend list,
yeah.
go
The thing is,
through and
like
see what they have. But
hunters, like
yeah, it's
unless we do
different
like
than
a lot of other
their
things, we don't have websites. I mean, I do because I'm an author and I do a lot of other shit too. But like, that's not something that's really done. Because usually your haunt has a website. Sometimes you'll be featured on it. Sometimes other people at your haunt will be. It's A lot of haunts will rotate it unless you're a specific story that's important to the haunt, and then you'll be included on the website. But like, it's just not really a thing. I think it should be, but it's not really a thing.
I'm sure if it'll probably become more of a thing because I've noticed there's a huge since joining PBDC, I've seen how big the haunt community is, and with all the new things that are going on, all the new technology and way to,
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for virtual haunt walkthroughs. I'm sure there are some that have
Exists.
them already.
It already exists actually, and I've been wanting to do one for our haunt because I know how to do. I've got the equipment to do it. It's just getting the time and people to actually show up to do it for a non-actual haunt day. It's tough. So we have it because they wouldn't get paid for it to set it up. But
Or
and that
maybe
was
you could do it like before a haunt someday.
that's what I'm hoping to do eventually. But like that actually started becoming a thing, and what's called at home haunts during COVID. Now the at home haunts is something that I'd like to start doing and like get you into. Basically, it's like you're creating an audio drama of sorts, but you send items like a subscription box, kinda, and all the audio files for them to listen to, like at home. But it makes them feel like they're going through a haunt at home or through some crazy like horror experience, and it's just them with their headphones and these different items that you send them. It's a really cool thing that's like starting to grow a little bit, and it looks like a really cool market. And I know some companies have done exceedingly well with it, like financially.
Very nice. That sounds like something we should look into. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done so much research on it, dude. I've been wanting. I haven't had a chance to like go. Well, I haven't had the money to afford to do one to see what they were like, but it's like how the escape rooms and like the ton of killer boxes, which we love the ton of killer boxes here when we can get them. But it's like that, but it's just a horror specific sort of experience. And some like you have to take out, and they suggest like you go out into the woods nearby your house to put your headphones on and listen. Some are just solid all at home, and that you get the sounds of the forest mixed in with the soundscape, and it's really cool stuff.
Well, it looks like I'm coming out of slider retirement.
See, you went from having to take a couple years off to now you're going to slide this year. That's a good jump. I like that jump. Good.
Hi, Mariah.
Hey,
Welcome. So,
Mariah's
yeah.
with us for campfire on Sunday.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, she's one of the people joining us. I think we got her, Kristen Sikorsky, and I think you were going to grab someone. That one, and then us.
Okay, this is an upcoming one, right? Like not this Sunday, next
No, yeah,
month's, right?
beginning of April.
Okay. I was like, I'll
Two
see you in
Sundays.
Loveland. I get
Yeah, no, yeah.
we were working
We were
part
careful.
of the reason this moves around. Yeah. My trips come at random times. So I have to like we kind of just we're running technically 5 shows under the Owl Light brand right now.
Oh yeah, because the other one's in
Um
break right now.
yeah, one of them's on break. The Normal Owl Light podcast. Me, Kristen, and Boobs. And Raz, if you ever need another person, let me know.
Oh, we will for sure, man. We will for sure.
But
When we decided all this, we booked like in advance as much as possible to give people like months of advance notice because we weren't sure what we were doing or how any of this was going to work. So we overbooked right off the gate, just kind of make sure we were good.
yeah,
Like when that starts running, I'll definitely let you know.
yeah, we have the regular Owl Light podcast, which is just the art and history of storytelling.
And we throw in a story or two here and there.
Yes, from cave paintings to creepy pasta, we cover it all. Yep. Then we have the campfire,
Yep.
which is the Owl Light Society.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when we get people together to just tell stories and then
All
kind of go
different
over the
kinds of walks of
stories.
life. Like we had like all authors and one gamer. Like this past show, it was kind of crazy how that ended up working out. That was
And I
awesome.
will be getting down to editing those so you can see just the stories and not all the talk. I've just
Pretty cool.
been reading over 200 comics in a couple
Yeah, priorities, man. You know, it's comics. They're
personal goals.
oh, of course. You know, I
Sure.
would.
We will. Then we have Owl Light Stories Presents, which is the audio drama you were talking about.
Hunter's Handbook. Somehow we manage.
Um, with the Clutch going, started this year. Well, all these new ones started this year except for the first one. And that's where then pulling in authors and other storytelling types of people and interviewing them, promoting them so that y'all can see the stuff that we think are awesome.
Yeah,
And we give away free stuff there too. So you can come there anytime. And
lots of
if
bullshit.
you watch a live stream, all you have to do is comment at any point during the stream. And I'm trying to find a better um, giveaway machine because they have this great tool for StreamYard to give things away,
Yeah.
but it doesn't remove the name of the previous winners. So when we don't have that many people who've entered, like the first time we had 25 people, I think 24, and then it turned to 25.
Yeah.
And we still had 3 people that won twice, and we had to re-roll for them doing like just 6 giveaways. So and there's no music or anything. So I'm trying to find something better than that. But at this
See,
point,
you'll have me to pop on now,
it's
and I'll just do like I'll make a sound. I'll make music with my mouth, or we'll just kind of, you know,
we're
we
getting
got
good at that.
we got this.
But
A
yeah,
little night of Foxberry with that.
the thing that's really good with StreamYard is because we have people commenting in from Twitch, different feeds on Facebook and YouTube. It just counts everything in StreamYard
Yeah.
and automatically puts all your names in there. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to have Raz in the background just typing people's names into a magic generator every time somebody comments throughout the entirety of the show.
Yep.
So he gets to comment and make noises.
And then of course we got buddy chat because like it might seem weird that we jumped on this storytelling stuff and then we do buddy chat, but if you think about it, like we tell a lot of life stories, like real, not like fiction, like actual real life, like, and we connect with each other, which is what storytelling is about, is connecting. So it really is all part of the same thing. We just like to come from it as many angles as possible.
Yeah. And we care about you guys and want to
We
make
really,
sure that you're all doing okay. And that's part of our goal too. Like I said,
yeah.
we stalk your profiles, and if we see
Yeah.
somebody's doing particularly bad, we try to make sure
And say hello to your mother
something's
for us.
scheduled. Her pie is great, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. I'm more a
Listen,
fan
my
of the cake
creepy
personally. I'm a cake person, not a pie person, but
pasta is fine.
you know,
I don't know what Lord means.
Lord.
Lord. Okay.
Yeah, like oh Lord, or like Lordy
Okay. We don't talk that way around here.
around these parts.
I don't
We
I
don't speak
speak.
kindly to your kind in these parts. It's been a little South Park every second.
Oh, we got Wild Bill. Hello,
Hey,
Wild Bill.
stay wild, Wild Bill.
I want a whiskey. I haven't had a whiskey for a while.
Whiskey.
I,
I've been drinking on a little bit. 2 nights ago, we finished it, making it. A good friend of mine from the haunt, Scott, he made apple pie shine, and I decided that I wanted to infuse it with THC. So I spent a lot of time figuring this out, and then me and Matt made it 2 nights ago, and then we tested it out by taking it to Bear's 21st birthday party yesterday, and it went over really well. But we accidentally made 9 mason jars. Like I didn't expect to make much of it, so we've been like gifting it to people, like realizing like we have to save a lot of it back. Like we're gonna save a jar back behind for our buddy's graduation, Carter, and just have some at home. But it tastes like a buttery apple pie. Like you don't even notice there's really alcohol in it until like after you've already had a drink of it, and then you kind of get the aftertaste from it, but you don't taste the herb at all. It's just a buttery apple pie.
I've been working my way through this bottle of wine, so forgive me as I realize that it's not going to get any. I can't just leave it open for
Yeah.
too many days.
I had
So
half. We made Buckeyes too, chocolate peanut butter balls for you non-Ohio people, and I had like half of one of those, very high milligrams, right before we started. That's my. I guess I should have said eat too many edibles for the show, not smoke too much before the show. And yeah, she's right.
moms,
That's the thing.
I love my mom. I get to go see Laughlin with her again, and my cousins. We're seeing them again this time.
I
You
would
know,
say
they
I'm somewhat at the estranged level officially with mine, which sucks because I love her to death, but it's what it is right now. Yes. Oh hell.
I love PBDC, and I know that I'm part of it, but it's like I'm a recent part of it. So I
Oh,
have learned.
You see,
I haven't gotten to use my voice changer in a while. It just felt like a moment.
You haven't introduced me either for a while. We
Oh, I
have
mean,
been missing.
and also vote Team Pterodactyl this week because we don't have a sound for a pterodactyl,
So
so we just gross. That's what it is. We are
I'm gonna
calm.
I'm gonna get you the sound bite from the guy who did the old Domino's commercials with the origami pterodactyl, and then
Remember
you
that?
can use that. Then we'll get busted for copyright issues because somebody will notice that
Yeah.
came from
Then
that guy way back in the day.
I'm gonna push it farther and wear a Noid costume one day, and then it's gonna be all over from there.
I've been today. Oh, I haven't showed off my uh,
Hell yeah, Wild Bill. It's
shirt
great to have
yet.
you back, man. Like, it's awesome to have you back. You were before my time, and I'm glad to meet you.
I I get so confused on how to freaking straighten out a t-shirt. You can't really see that well, I don't think, in
I
this
see the word
one.
temple very clearly.
Yes, there is um an old Viking, and it says, my body is a temple, ancient and crumbling, probably cursed or haunted."
That sounds legit, like my whole life.
And if you see my mom, I seriously want to know. That would be an interesting conversation.
No kidding. No kidding.
Once again, I'm missing things, but that's okay. I'm always late to the party.
I'm usually just
But
going, no idea what's going on. But today I actually know some things that it's helpful.
I keep forgetting I'm gonna get signs made. Like, here are my plans for upcoming things.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Oh, that would be a very interesting conversation then.
It
She
would be.
probably hangs out with one of my friends. Sounds horrible, but I know these people. I know all the people. Somebody needs something done. I know this guy. And not
Yeah.
just for like, oh, your boyfriend hit you? I know this guy. It's gonna be
Yeah.
taken care of. No, and that was a terrible thing to say. But
It was kind of a fucked up example, but I mean,
buddy check. Well, that's my that's one of the things that I have
yeah.
known this guy for. But yeah. Oh, you need your house cleansed? I know this guy. Oh, actually, I
Gotcha.
can do that for you. But
I think like collectively, like we are the Professor Slughorn of the universe. We just collect really cool people because we're cool with people, you know? Yeah, yep, yep. I know you work in pizza.
so Wild Bill was kicked out, then invited back. Okay.
Gotcha.
Hi. Still. Jenny can cleanse her own too. I need to
It's an important
buy.
life skill to have. Like people, if you don't know how to cleanse your house, like learn. Like it's very valuable thing to be able to do. Get that negativity and shit out of there.
Yeah. And just tidy. It makes you feel better.
Yeah.
I need to do that. I I've been accumulating things again. I ordered
We
a
mean cleanses and
bunch
energy
of.
though, not like cleaning the place, but cleansing.
Yeah. But sometimes cleaning helps too. I
Yeah,
just
no,
got a
it means so.
bunch of shit in from ordering a ton of t-shirts and a ton of merch and books and stuff, and then my Chewy cat order came in, and for for one cat, damn, did I get a lot of stuff. I got like $150 worth of Chewy delivered so that I would just be covered on Hinata for a while.
Yeah,
And so I once again have the pile o box that Yeti used to use when I still had him around, and she's now started laying on top of what used to be Yeti's perch, the new version of it.
gotcha. Oh yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could talk with my grandfather again. That would be awesome. I hear you. I was a caregiver for my mom's parents for the last decade of their lives, and I really miss them. I miss my papa so much too. Not that I don't miss grandma. I just had Papa for a couple years longer, and it was just me and him most of the time. So,
I think losing my grandma a couple years ago was like the death blow to my whole at that point. My dad dying, like, scared shit out of me, but when my grandma died, like, everybody else just stopped talking and fell apart. It was sucks.
okay, Reverend Wild Bill. Yes, left Red Roof people overpaid, now working under the blue ones.
Pizza Code, 'cause you can't say the names of the places, yeah.
That spot where they, yeah, got some sage from the place.
There's a game I enjoy playing a lot. You play it with, like, little pieces. I think it's called Dominoes. Like, that's a really fun game to play.
Dude, I know what you're doing, but I am the bomb diggity at dominoes.
No,
Like,
I haven't
I
played in a while. I used to love it.
I'd need to have it re-explained to me. Like everything that I used to do, I have to have re-explained because if I haven't done it for a while, I'm like, what? But I kick ass at cribbage, dominoes, spades, um, pitch, euchre. The one and only time I played pinochle, I just buried the other team, and they were like, "Oh, we need a fill in for somebody, and we know you play this and this. Will you be so and so's partner?" And I'm like, "Sure."
I have
And
really, like, good luck
I
at, like,
they
little
never let
games
me
of
come up.
skill and chance like that. Like, I don't know why, like, exceedingly amazing luck. Anytime else in life, terrible luck. But weird stuff like that, I don't know why.
My fear is how hard I don't know what I would do if I lost mom at this point. I wouldn't make it very well, I don't think. I broke really hard when I lost my grandfather because for a decade he and for most of that my grandmother were my life. They were what I put everything into. Like I had, you know, I had significant others during that time. I had people living in my house, basically, or my apartment, basically to take care of the cats and give me a kiss when I'd swing in for the weekend to grab new clothes and stuff. But yeah, I didn't know what to do when it was over, so I started writing again,
Yeah.
and that helped. But it's still I not right, and
Yeah.
I can't even think about it with my mom. I just suck. Wild Bill sees dead people and stupid people as
Yeah.
well. I see
Please don't.
stupid people a lot, and I don't go out very often.
I'm dead inside and people see me every day, so, I mean, that seems legit.
Okay, sorry, I had to go through disturbed lyrics until I got to the chorus when you said dead inside. That's what my brain does.
I feel like Cartman with
It,
"Come Sail Away." He
oh, don't
hears
do
the
that.
beginning of "Come Sail Away" and he can't settle down or do anything until he out loud finishes the song. 'Cause he has to do it out loud. It's not even in his head. He stops everything, he just does it. And there's one episode where they do it to him, like, the whole episode over and over, and he about has a nervous breakdown.
I think I saw that episode.
It's early,
It's
early season stuff.
it's funny that I promise I see more stupid people every day that I work, seeing them right fucking now. I'm sorry. Are we supposed to be alive inside?
If so,
Sometimes.
I did not get that memo.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but I think we're supposed to try.
Yeah,
Well, we have a chance. And then hopefully everything goes for the best once we're no longer there. I hope.
yeah,
I kind of have I don't know. I was going to be a mortician for a while, but it wasn't because I'm just morbid. It's because I respect death and the dead. And so
yeah,
I felt like it would be a good fit for me. But where I'm at, the programs don't really work. You have to, I'd have to be going through like an internet university and trying to find ways to get my internship hours done
yeah,
at,
your hours, your certifications, and
yeah. And there's just not the amount of mortuaries here that take you know, they have time to take on interns and stuff. We're trying. We all are, I
Supposedly learn
think.
around here.
Sometimes we don't.
Yeah. Some days we were just like, "Fuck it," and that's okay once in a while, like, it's okay to have fuck it days.
Yeah, I have one thing on my list that I absolutely need to get done out of the like 5 things that I needed to get done during the week, and then I'll be able to totally breathe. And all it is to log onto a website and renew my shit for
Which
Medicaid.
doesn't seem like
But
a much, but, like, you get those days, man, where it's like, you dread it, and then you go to do it, and you sit down, and you start to do it, and you're like, "I don't wanna be doing this right now." So then you find things, sometimes subconsciously, to take up all your time and like, I'll do it tomorrow." And then it just becomes a thing, like, "I've gotta do this," but it feels like an insurmountable goal when you're thinking about it.
it it happened to me because when I filed for disability back in 2003, it took me 8 years to get
Right.
put on it. And during that time, I was on a special program with DHHS, Department of Health and Human Services, that like basically covered my bills as long as when I got my disability, they
Okay,
got paid back at a 0% loan,
gotcha.
um, and stuff. So doing all the paperwork every single time I had to do it for court, because this is before they had it digitized. My stuff never got digitized. I was going in and they'd be like, your paperwork is currently in Maryland. Okay, you
Gotcha.
don't have a copy here. You can't pull it up online. And some of them were like, how do you still have a case going that isn't online yet? I'm like, you tell me. I don't know.
Yeah.
My lawyer actually retired while my case was still going. He
Oh,
had
yeah.
to just keep showing up for stuff. And so it's so hard. You
Yeah.
been trying to it yeah, just keep appealing. And what I can do, like, keep appealing, keep all of your paperwork, because like I said, you'd felt the same thing over and over and over and that's what just killed me.
I've gotten
Um,
a lot of super bad news and results
mhm.
lately, like, more than I've shared, a lot more than I've shared with anyone. That pretty much guarantees that I have no choice but to start that process this year, and I'm terrified about, like, just the amount of paperwork. I'm overwhelmed I haven't even started it yet.
Yeah, but it gets to where it just drags you down so hard, um, that I get paranoid about it now. Hi, Rue.
Hey, Rue. The magic stream. Yeah, that's been a bit.
Elaborate. Or
I don't think we have enough time for me.
okay.
It's quite
We
a
only
story.
have a we only have
Yeah.
an hour and a half left.
And legit, that may not be enough time to explain the complexities of the magic stream. But just be rest assured that it was magic and it was fucking beautiful.
I was able to get my disability in less than 2 months after I applied. I was like, yes, you're very lucky. Mine was a bit harder than most people's because epilepsy is a spectrum disorder, as you can inherit, you're genetically inherited. Mine is from being bonked on the head. It just appears in some people. So,
Yeah.
and Mariah, I can barely walk, but still keep getting denied. So here I sit on a bum leg, working almost 50 hours a week. My leg 3 times its normal size, and in so much pain I can't sleep most of the time. Effing sucks, but according to them, I don't qualify. Yeah. And yeah, all I can say is, not a professional, but as somebody who went through it all, it's hard. Medical, yeah. I and Mariah, honestly, something else I can tell you that my lawyer told me. First of all, don't go with the big companies of lawyers that are like, you know, I won't say their names, but we handle disability cases all over the nation, because they do this thing where they kind of
I
group
did
them all
that,
together.
and I
You
can
don't have
vouch
a
for that.
personal representative.
Yeah, the
But
first time I through when I was deemed moderately, when I didn't have anywhere near what I have now, like, a lot of it came down to the fact the reason why I didn't get pursued is because they did so many. and they were in another state that, they didn't tell me that we were able to appeal, and, like, a day or 2 before the appeal deadline was when they decided to just, "Oh, yeah, we have too many cases, we're gonna drop you." And I'm just like, "But you're not giving me time to appeal, that's not our problem."
Awesome that you had good doctors for that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, the two things that ended up helping with mine, and this is something that my lawyer had told me, one, even if it's medical, if you have anything mental or behavioral to go with it, add that because
Mhm.
honestly, they are much more likely to grant disability to someone with a behavioral health problem than they are for someone with a medical health problem. It's stupid, but that's the way it
Here,
is.
a lot of the things here, that happens in reverse. I don't know why. I don't know what's different or anything, but, like, here, like, I see way more people get it for physical than the behavioral. But if you've got both, like, I hate to say
I'm
it's a great thing, it's not a great thing to have both, obviously, I can tell you from experience, but it helps your situation with that.
Yeah, my lawyer didn't discuss with me some of his strategies for things. So one of the times when I went up in front of a judge, uh, we were discussing all my conditions, and there was like, okay, she has depression, she has a sleeping disorder, she has anxiety, on top of epilepsy, and she has PTSD. And then he started recounting um, the reasons why I had PTSD, without having mentioned to me before that he was doing that, and I ended up having a seizure brought on by a panic attack. That
Right.
when you have this disorder, your brain goes, "Ta-da! Guess what? This is going to trigger this now." They
Yeah.
go together,
Mhm.
and so I got to have a seizure. I think that helped the judge make up her mind.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine, like, I think the thing that felt like the worst about it was the process is very dehumanizing, and the worst part of that the dehumanization part is when you actually go to the hearing, because you've got this person in there that sits there and estimates your worth as a human being. "Oh, well, they can do this, they can't do that," and, like, it's like, what is it? Vocational worker? It's something that determines what if you are able to do any jobs. I forget what it's called right now.
Okay, we didn't have those. We actually brought one of those in because they don't have that in Nebraska,
Yeah,
but
see, here it's applied.
they basically had to explain that yes, she can go to a job and work. She has held down jobs.
Yeah.
However, she cannot consistently
Yeah,
go
it's
in
the
every day. And if she has a seizure on the job, most places will fire her because she is a liability.
Yep,
And if she calls in because she has a seizure and can't go to work for a couple of days due to injury,
yep.
she cannot maintain work.
Or this could happen on your premises, and if something bad happens, you would be liable for it, so a company doesn't wanna hire.
I'm gonna hop on here real quick. Fuck lawyers. I am using my ties in EMS to use our union to try and get it. Sadly, because I am working, they use that to say I function fully. It's like, what the fuck? I work so I'm not homeless because you don't grant my disability. Yeah, you have to explain that. I mean, get a doctor to basically say working is killing you. And it's sad that we have to go through all that work. And I mean, I'm doing stuff from home, but and the way it's set up, the system. Let's go here real quick too. Um, well, Bill says mine was chronic COPD, chronic migraines, and both knees are gone. They would not ever let me sit and take money at a flea market. They would not even let me sit and take money.
Yeah.
I want to work and they won't let me. Yeah,
By the way, I just got drawn. I'm a 2A or A2. Yeah.
me too. Okay.
Yeah, I officially
Anybody out there in SAS? They're doing the drawings now.
yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to
Uh,
bust in, but it just happened, I heard my name, I was like, "Wait, what?"
okay. Um, there are things that you can do where you can work and earn. I think it's a state by state X amount of income over top of
Yeah,
what you
or
make in a
school
month,
or what have you.
and it won't cut you off. But back in the day, you couldn't even if you went to school, you were able to do something. So it would say no. After my doctors gave their no diagnosis, I had to go to the states to be evaluated. Vote for us. Yes, vote for us.
Yeah. Please, I need all your love and all your votes. I see the thing is, like, all of Team Pterodactyls in this, all of us, Demon Willie, me, Amelia, and Akia, we're all in it. So we're hoping that we're at least most of us are in separate groups. We don't want to go against each other. But I'm going to be selfish. You got to vote. Give me your
Yeah.
votes.
Vote for Pass Slasher. And anybody else in Team Pterodactyl that you can.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait, didn't play the whole thing. What the hell? Oh, because the button got stuck. Oh my god. Yeah, it won't play. There we go. That's never happened before. That was so.
One of the hardest states to get on display. And now with like after COVID, I have no idea. After COVID and after Trump, I have no idea what's going on because most of the changes that they made, they're now taking back and changing again. And there've just been so many just broad strokes of stuff done over the whole program that I have no idea what's going on anymore. I just give them all of my information and like, oh, and I do this thing that I don't get paid for at all. So, but I have a hotkey that says I'm having a seizure. I have to go. If you guys ever see that, oh, that reminds me, I should just in case. Why can't I? Okay. On the off chance, I should set myself a Facebook so I can put it in the stream. If you see me just leave, that means I'm having a seizure or I'm having an aura bad enough that I need to get somewhere safe and I don't have time to hit my hotkeys. But that was something fun I discovered. Although then I discovered like how many hotkeys are built into the system and how hard it is to figure out what hotkey combination you can put together that doesn't require both of your hands at the
Right.
same time to like actually post something up. So if I was in a game or on something like this, it's like it's my epilepsy button, Control Shift E. Oh, I want a different one for this. That's Control Shift Cap Locks Tab Page Up LKH at once. Because everything I would do, I'd suddenly be copy pasting or pulling up a page or shutting down something, and
Yeah.
they need a list of those like hotkey combinations you can actually use without breaking your computer. I would appreciate that because and it was I'm not stupid. I didn't try to use like Control Alt Delete or Control
Right.
V or anything like that. It was just random ones with like 3 keys involved that I didn't know did things. So, I don't have hotkeys on the site. I do have a number pad on my laptop. I insisted on getting a laptop that had a number pad this time because I'm lost without one. I need my 10 key even though I don't use it as often as I used to. But I that was when I was doing some programming for like cam and stuff. Having typing in coordinates constantly gets you to where like you are so perfect. I used to think in Excel spreadsheets, and I would like while my eyes were running across the this top of the screen, the top of my brain, I like have my eyes rolling back and forth, and I'm typing in a 10 key to see like how the spreadsheet worked and stuff too. Ooh, I might have to see if we can get a little side doodle or something that I can use in Corsair. I'm a big fan of the Logitech K120s because they cost like $10 and they're pretty damn decent keyboards. As far I can't really use one of the ones that has a backlight on it.
Yeah.
So I'm a gamer, but I'm not so hardcore into gaming that I need a gaming keyboard. And those ones that are broken in half look cool, but then I wouldn't be able to type on anything else.
Yeah, those
So,
I thought I wanted to try one, so, like, I borrowed one from someone I knew that just happened to have a spare one to see if I could write with it, and I'm like and I kept trying to, like, force the 2 pieces together in front of me, but it doesn't work that way, and, like, the keys themselves are different too, and it screwed me up so bad, I was, "Okay, I'm glad I didn't buy one."
oh, that would drive me nuts.
It drove
Yeah.
me dude, like
My biggest problem is that I'm sitting below my keyboard. My keyboard, I like have to have my arms lifted to about here to type if I'm not into it. So
yeah.
spit off. This one was originally given to you
Looks
by
like
your
all of Team
gamer son.
Pterodactyl along with Vice are all against each other. So it's Vice, me, and Amelia and Akia Sofa. So our whole team is going to go up against each other this
Against
week.
Vice
Yeah,
too?
it's tough. It's going to be a tough week, man.
Oh
It will
yeah.
literally be a miracle if I survive this round. That's what that'll be, a miracle.
I love Logitech. My dad just
Oh yeah,
stocked up on them once, so I like, Dad, I need a new keyboard, and he sends me home with like 3 Logitech K120s with the mouse as well because they come in a bundle for like, I don't know, 12 or 15 bucks if you buy them together.
yeah,
Back in the day, they're probably like 25 bucks now because COVID, but
man. I was still getting them for like 14.99, 17.99. The wireless versions, just like even during then, I was able to pick up one. It was like Target or Walmart or something like that. It wasn't too bad.
you can even program this one so Pac-Man chases the ghost across the keyboard. But does it bite? Does he eat the thing first? Because otherwise, you're playing the game wrong.
I used to
Got to
have
make
a Raver shirt that it was literally just Pac-Man eating drugs. So, like there was just all the pellets were replaced with different drugs, and it was hilarious. I missed that
I,
shirt.
the only Pac-Man shirt I have is the new Dorkening one that I got because Leo made a Pac-Man design for an old arcade kind of style.
Nice.
That's I do have a Pikathulu. Gotta catch. Gonna take you all, or gonna catch you all, or something like that. That was gifted to me by one of my gamer friends.
Yeah, that's epic.
That was super fun. I gotta lose enough weight that I can wear that one again.
Oh
Back
yeah.
when I was thin, before I switched meds,
I've
I
gotten to that point where like I was a 1X T-shirt guy, and lately I've been like, man, what's wrong? Are we washing the clothes weird the other day? And then I put on a 2X shirt. I'm like, nope, I've just gotten fatter.
well, and I like these are 3X's, but they're nice and baggy, and I like that. But I'm not gonna diss the company, but because they finally did get back in touch with me. But I had okay, yes, it's automated. Pac-Man is chomping after the blue ghost. Okay, that is pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I wear 3X's, and I ordered something from somebody that I couldn't like. It was okay to go over my belly, but it was like sticking over my hips. It was rolling up and stuff. It was a jersey, and they're really satiny, and the cloth quality was great, but otherwise it was, I can't wear it, and it was a merch on demand type of thing. So they're like, oh, donate it to somebody, we'll give you a refund unless you want some online credit. I'm like, well, since your clothes don't fit me, probably not, because why would I want to order something else that is not going to fit either? Let's just save the shipping costs, and I'll mail it to somebody I know who can wear it. Because I'm so niche in my geekness that like I have to go like, okay, who is in this niche that would actually wear this shirt, and then who would actually fit into this shirt as well. So
Yeah,
Corsair's website and different ones you can download to run on the keyboard.
nice. That's cool.
I just I'm using auto hotkey, and the only problem with it is there's a way to figure it out that I haven't done yet. It's a long process, but I want it to auto load at startup, just the emergency one. But it you have to go into a lot of different shit with it, and it's just like, why don't they just make a click this button and properties load on start? That would be much easier than trying to remember it because I have so many different things that don't do that. And then everything that I don't want to load on start, of course, does. So you have to go through and figure out how to turn all that shit off. Like Cortana, get Cortana away from me. I don't want her listening to me. I'm assuming she's a girl. I don't know.
You're assuming gender.
I am. I'm gender assuming a computer assistant,
Yeah.
but
Dare you?
I'm horrible. I don't dare speak the name of the thing that sits beside me because she listens to me half the time. Anyway. My mom though, It's an Echo Dot, and my mom had for she got rid of her Google one because she had them both, and they would start talking to each other in the middle of the night without any prompting, and it would just scare the shit out of her.
Oh,
I don't I don't know what other people's do. And hers also. This was the weirdest one that came up. She's been having a little bit more activity over at her house again lately. Not a lot, but a bit. And Maddie's been having a lot. But once when I was over there, there was in the middle of the night. I just gone out for a cigarette, and she was sleeping away, watching like had a cooking show kind of on, kind of not, and well, on, but kind of watching it, kind of drifting off to sleep. And I came inside and I was organizing my stuff, getting ready to go to bed, and it just started blasting Enter Sandman. And my mom doesn't listen to Metallica, and
right.
it's not on any of my playlists. So I don't know how hers just suddenly decided to do that. But yay, Amazon. Wild Bill, if I use the F keys, I can have 18 different hotkeys on here. It's nice to have a son that likes to get the latest keyboards for gaming. Yes, yes, it is. I I think my F keys already have things though. Like if I push them, they have stuff already programmed in. Um, and Mariah, this is why I'll run my current computer till it dies horribly. Sadly, I miss out on lots of new stuff. I that was my big thing for a while, and I swore I was never going to use a laptop because they could to me like laptops were these old things where
I was resistant as fuck at first to laptops. Like, it took me a long time, and now, like, primarily, that's probably what I use all the time now. I miss my desktop though.
I yeah, mine too. Mine's sitting out there being dead.
I gotta get mine
Um,
fixed. As soon as I get it fixed, when we move, I'm gonna my whole streaming setup's gonna be my tower once I get moved and everything. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a pretty easy fix. So more
at
I've been
this
looking
point, my laptop's better than my old desktop because I just haven't had the time to buy new shit for it
at.
since I have this running.
I had a desktop for like a couple years. It was a decent one, and then I went to send it to get it repaired because I barely met the repair window, and I went to send it in. There was this whole thing with the mail where I send it, it got lost in the mail. So the company that it was like I had the warranty through just gave me money to buy a new one. And then right after I did that, the old one somehow made its way back to me, and they were like, "Fuck it!" So I just went and sold it somewhere online for parts, and ended up getting a mid-tier VR gaming desktop, which is what I've got. It just Brooke accidentally knocked it off a shelf, which then hit a TV tray and then hit the floor. And now it won't register HDMI anymore. And I don't have a monitor to plug it into to see what the fuck's going on. But I've reseated the RAM, video card, like everything. And it makes the proper sounds. I'm not getting any beep codes or anything. So it should be working. I just can't see the display. So either that part of the board is messed up and I can't tell. I took it apart and looked and I didn't see a problem. But those connectors are so tiny, man. Like, and obviously with my shaky ass hands, I'm not going to be soldering anything anytime soon. As soon as I
I
get that figured out, I mean, it might be easier than I think. I hope.
I got to do some soldering once, and I learned we learned it in high school, and I was sitting at I was going to community college and I was tutoring there, and I showed up early for one of my tutoring sessions because they had an electronics class on campus, and I went in right when they were finishing up class, and I was just like, "Hey, is that all right if I borrow your soldering iron?" My kid threw her toy, and I just need to rehook this back up because it disconnected and it won't make the noises it's supposed to make anymore. And the most patronizing man, and I'm not one of those people who's like, women are so oppressed constantly and everything, and I know, but this guy in particular was a very patronizing man. And one of my fellow tutors and classmates was in the class, and he was just like, "Oh, this is not going to be pretty."
Yeah.
But I come in and I'm like, "Mind if I use soldering iron to fix this?" And he's like, "We can do it for you." I'm like, "No, it's all good. I know exactly where it's at already." And he's like, "Okay, guys, let's watch the little girl and see how she does with her soldering." And I got it and fixed it with my one little, you know, 2-second solder, and everything's great. And then he looked like an ass. But good on you, Bill. My son built my desktop. Oh, wait, wrong one. I just gave away a touchscreen laptop for free. It was a Toshiba. That was
Nice.
awesome of you. My son built my desktop with 3 monitors because I do live feeds for paranormal shows. Also awesome. I don't know how to make different monitors work. My mom does. She uses them, I don't. I'm like, but what if it's over there? How do I mouse over there? Or where why do you need so many screens? I don't get it. I just use
Oh,
tabs.
I'm actually badly wanting multiple screens. As soon as when I'm done, I would like to do a 3-screen setup because I'm always doing a lot of stuff at one time, like a lot at once. And like I also like to watch a movie or something or like a show or something like while I'm writing, and I can't really do that. There's not a TV that's angled where I can see it. So I figured when I move, I could use one to just be always playing like a podcast or a show or something right there that I can see and look up at sometimes. Or the middle one obviously for writing or whatever, and the one on the left is extra programs that I need for research. Just to figure, I figure if I could see it all at once, it might help me be more productive. But I say that, and what it's going to do is probably just distract me times 3 is what's going to end up.
I would just have 40 tabs open and like 17 different windows in my main screen, and then I would have the bouncing DVD logos going on the side because I watch that. You guys have no idea. I bouncing DD bouncingdvdlogo.com. I just sit there and watch it bounce across the screen like an old PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
Mariah says, Raz, I am still using the desktop I built when I started writing and streaming with Windows 8.1.
But do you still have the same monitor that I bought you? That's the question. Because when we were on the Twisted Geekdom show slash network, her monitor went out, so I actually got on Amazon and I sent her like we found a used monitor on Amazon. Like I think it was Amazon that we sent her.
They had to drag me kicking and biting and screaming out of Windows XP because that to me was like the best operating. I just loved it, and they got away with that, and then everything updated to 10 on me. Well, I got to 7, and then I went to 10 right away. And so I've gotten used to 10, and now they're like, oh, go to 11. And I'm like, go kiss my ass. I don't want 11. I want XP back, motherfuckers.
Right. And
Really want XP.
I'm gonna be honest with you though. It's like so I did the switch to 11 right before we started hotel life, and I'm actually loving 11. I never thought I'd say it, but like 10 was okay, but I don't know what it is about 11, like the way it's organized and set up. You know how you go to the bottom left on 10 to get to your start
It's
menu?
huge.
It's
Yes.
in the middle. That whole bar that was bottom left is now centered bottom, which seems weird until you see it and start using it. And I'm actually finding everything 10 times easier and quicker on 11 than 10 was. And I'd gotten used to 10 was great at 10, but I'm just liking 11 a lot more. I don't know why.
Very nice. 11 is more user friendly.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
just
know why. It very much is. It reminds me of the difference from like Windows, 2000 linear or whatever to XP. That's what it feels like. Like there's that on the surface, it seems very much like 10. It's just, yeah, it's more user friendly.
I'll have to look into it. That one in there is dead because of that one killer Windows update that they were like, please don't, if you haven't hit the update button yet, don't, because it's gonna fuck your system up. We
Yeah, I was
totally screwed up
terrified to
on
hit
this
it. I
one.
was like, I just kind of closed my eyes and pressed the button and hoped for the best and walked away for a while and came back. I was like, all right, okay, this isn't bad. And then I
Uh,
didn't have a lot of the like the new bugs you get with like when you first transfer over to Windows and you're still like putting up the packs and all the updates. I get updates frequently, but so far only one has kind of messed me up a little bit, and they had a fix for it like the same day. So like,
your mic's getting a little wonky there.
I'm sorry. I
Um,
realized I'm also probably going to need a new actual mic cable here soon as well. Because the one that came with the package wasn't the best one, just like the one with the board. But the one that came with the board was a lot worse than the mic cord. Am I coming through okay now, though?
yeah, you're sounding a lot better. It's the best of Windows 10 and more use. Okay. And Marina needs to get your second one. It's just to watch the bouncing DVD logo, right? That's what you need it for, because that's awesome.
Yeah.
It You do that, and you put the what is known as the Cisco hold music. Actually, it's called Opus Number One on just on a constant loop, and just you're in Zen.
Yeah. Oh,
It's,
I just got a SAS update. Apparently, we were all wrong. I am in a group on my own, and it's the rest of
oh,
Team Pterodactyl and Bison in a different group. So
nice.
that's better for me. But of course, no one out there really knows who I am, so I'm probably still not going to make it. But I don't have to vote
Where,
for myself. I can vote for the Team Pterodactyl and be like, yeah,
where's Slippy?
I didn't see everything yet. That's the problem. Like I've been paying.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, I'm paying more attention to the show than I am what's going on over
Yeah.
there. I'm getting notifications from people. Is how I'm finding a lot of this stuff.
So you're actually useful with your. I have a tablet, a phone, a laptop, and
That's exactly what I want. I want that program for the timeline or something on their side, or research, writing in the middle, and then whatever on the side.
I
Yeah, of
know a
course.
lot of people would take them. If I stream
Um,
games, cable on monitor, and have Twitch up on second. Okay.
Yeah, I want to get the curved screen for like my middle writing screen, like the curved one, and then like the ones on the side. I actually want to. Do you remember the movie, Keanu Reeves movie, Johnny Mnemonic? I want the computer.
Vaguely.
They had this computer there, and the computer was called Heaven, and it was like by today's standards, it's fucking laughable as shit. But when it came out, it was like this awesome, like weird curvy monitor in the middle, like and like right in the middle. Then it had like one on each side, like angled, so you sat at it, and it was like a workstation, and the monitors like it just had this whole thing had this feel, and it was like that was computer heaven. That was like tech heaven was sitting at this computer. So like I've always wanted to like recreate, but now I guess a more modern version of what that computer setup would be.
I tried that once and everything went wrong. Every possible thing that could went wrong.
Would you like to play again? Fuck Scrivener. I just ditched
I've
them.
never used Scrivener.
They pissed me off. So I'm moral standpoint on Scrivener. So I had it for years because I got it a big discount through NaNoWriMo, and then I was like, fuck, I'll use it, I'll buy it, and I bought it, and I liked it. It was cool. I mean, I used to use it a lot for a lot of stuff. And then they did this big update this past year and decided that their lifetime license uh, wasn't good anymore. And if I wanted to keep accessing the documents that I had on the old version, I had to pay again. And I was like, fuck you, I'm not paying again. So yep, discount their nano. So I just decided I'm not using them anymore. So now I just use Word and Google Docs. But the way I've set it up in the templates I've found, I don't have to watch 3,000 tutorials just to figure out how to do one thing on Scrivener anymore. So I've abandoned Scrivener for life. The next thing I'm looking to pick up, though, for the tools is Campfire. I really want the Campfire writing program, man. Like, it's got the character sheet stuff, like for your characters, like built into it, which is what I do on my own and have for years anyway. It's got timelining, it's got modules. Because you buy the program, but then you also buy modules to plug into the program for expansion. So they've got like profiles for like city locations. You can take pictures and upload them. Like it's a little like Scrivener, but the thing with Campfire is it doesn't have like the traditional per se word processing part of it. It's just writing software for everything else and analytics and everything. And I'm already using Pro Writing Aid as my Pro Writing Aid. I use it plugged into Google and Word, and it goes and analyzes every single word I write. I can change the settings based on if I'm writing fiction, um, school stuff, professional work like APA styling stuff. But then I can also go into fiction and choose like, okay, well, I'm horror writing today, and it will analyze all the modern top tropes. And when it recognizes that I'm doing certain things, it'll give me suggestions based on what's happening on the market. So it was really like I paid for it. I want to get the lifetime version of that one too, but I pay for it per year, and I think the discount because I always do it right around Black Friday. It's like $60 or $70, something like that for a whole year. And I can tell you that it is already worth its weight in gold per writing it is. So I figure if I get that and I can get Campfire, then like I will never need anything again the rest of my life.
Papyrus.
I've heard of I've heard of that one
Okay.
too, and I've looked at it a little bit, but I haven't like I got so stuck on like how great Campfire is that I still need to make myself go look at those other ones before I make a final decision. But it is on my list.
Windows 11 came with Windows Suite, but I use Google Doc the most. Um, I've bought into the Windows 365 family version so that because Ma can use it for her work and I can use it for all of my work. So it's just Office. Yeah, it's Office 365, but I update it every year and it comes with quite a bit of OneDrive space too.
Yeah.
So
See, I used to use OneDrive too, and then I just sending stuff through
it's all good.
OneDrive for some stupid reason is more complicated than Google Drive. And the way it sets up like the dummy folders on my computer I didn't love. So like now
Yeah.
I only use Google Drive now. But I use Google everything, calendar, spreadsheets, Word, I mean and Docs rather, not Word. But like all the programs they make for everything now, it seems like all the writing programs, all of them now have plugins for Docs. All of them. So it's like, why pay for Word anymore if Google does everything, but it works with more plugins. So there's things that like a Mac user can do that a Windows user can't unless you just go on Google and get Google Docs, and then you don't have to pick anymore because they're all plugged right in through Google. Makes it easy.
I have to find something else because I'm on Windows 8.1. Microsoft is fucking with my documents because I refuse to update to Windows 10 and buy 365 or Suite.
Remind me to help you out with that later.
Yeah, I don't need half of what comes with 365, but
No, I hate
it's
360.
it's good to have it for me in case I need things from it. I needed to have something, and one of my friends had added me on when he had it, so I'd been playing with it for free for quite a while. And but yeah, I'm with you on the. I don't get how to make OneDrive save some things and not other things, and
And then sometimes it'll do double of one thing, and I've
yeah,
been like, so
and
I just like I abandoned it. But like again, the
I
other
have
cool thing about Google
I've
Docs is that it will save things in Word format and read Word files. So if you're sticking with like the older 365 because you don't want to go to 365, just don't. Just use Google to open it up.
Well, and I have something like for the past couple of months, my OneDrive has a there are 3 sync issues in OneDrive. Click to learn more. And it's like a couple of my links that mostly stuff for The Sims. You don't have no access to permission or no access permissions to the item, but I don't know how to give it permissions. So Google is more user friendly than Office Suite.
It is, and I
It
used to
but
be the
you
kind
still have to store it somewhere else because I've had people tell me that they had all their shit saved on Google Drive and they lost it. So you still have to back that up somewhere.
and for that there are plenty of options out there that aren't Word still. Like oh my God, there's one I used to Open Office. I was using for the longest because I hated Microsoft and I didn't want to pay for it for so long that I used Open Office instead. And Open Office is just it's like GIMP. You know how what it's like what GIMP is to Adobe.
Photoshop.
Yeah, to Photoshop. But Open Office is basically an Office clone that's all user created and generated, so it's free and it's all the same shit. And so I went over to that for Open Office for the longest time. That's what I ended up doing for a while. Because it again also like Google Docs does, it can use Word files and even save in Word files. But I know a lot of people in the writing industry still use Word. And a lot of people though are switching to Google Docs and to send stuff in. If it's not like an email only submission, I know a lot of publishing companies are starting to go to we'll just put it in a Google Drive, put it in the Google
That's
Docs
awesome.
more often than I used to. Yeah,
And Mariah, yeah, yeah,
it is frustrating.
I have, I can't find some of my things like because I had to move stuff from my old computers over and one of them literally exploded. So, um, I had lost everything I had on there. Thank you, son. Wild Bill, son, you're being a good son. Um, but yeah, so some of my favorite stories that I was like gonna put up for submissions are gone because I had an old e-machine was my tower at one point
Ooh,
because they were on well, they were super cheap at the
the
time.
ink machine.
Yeah. And there's a reason they were super cheap at a time, but I needed to be able to have 2 towers in the house for gaming with.
Yeah,
And
that's good
I'd
stuff.
let it I'd let it sit aside for a while and went to go like a while, like over a year. And when I plugged it in, like there were snap crackle pops and some lights coming from it and then smoke.
Some
And
bad luck.
so it was,
Your
hey
shit's on fire,
Susan.
Lance.
Yeah, when you have when your computer is literally smoking, you don't really get anything back from it.
So I'm gonna be right back in like 2 seconds because you know what? I need to go to the bathroom really bad, and I'm gonna go
Okay,
do that really quick.
you lose things. I have 4 hard drives and it's hard to remember where I stored them. I try to keep I have I'm sorry, wording is really hard tonight. I have an external hard drive. It's just like 4 terabytes or something. But that's what I run WoW off of when I'm playing there, but I also back up everything onto it. Um so that I have backup of things, but I have like old computer, Carrie writes, Carrie does this. That's my author's name. And yeah, so but I look through it all and it's like, why didn't I save that 7 times? Because I lost all of the other updates to here. Good day, Dolphin Raz, much love and respect from Mr. and Mrs. Pogo and the Australian Clown Community. Hello! Also, hello, Susan. Yeah, I just updated this to be better, but I need more. No, nothing. This is my old computer, Susan. I was talking about the old one. I had it sitting under a table for a couple of years, and when I went to retrieve it, just so I could move everything onto the hard drive that I got, it just started on fire. Yeah, I would lose all of that. Um, the dresser people would take it from me and give me back things like clowns or something else. I have actually I don't know where my clowns are. I think they're over there. I picked up some clowns recently. They're little clown music boxes that rock back and forth and play creepy songs, and they're little porcelain clowns, and I love them. Yeah, it wasn't, oh my god, like it wasn't as bad as when my hair started on fire. That was real suck. But having a computer just like and and that electrical smell is electrical fires do not smell good. Do not recommend. Would not buy a candle with that name on it. Just not my thing. Hey, we're getting some people in from SAS, it looks like. Been hanging with Matt too much in his fiery role. We talked about that earlier, how his roles set the building on fire the other night. I don't roll that well. I'm like I was saying on the thing, I literally, even with the house rule of the first time around, you re-roll ones and twos, that I had a character that just had a 6 for a stat because, yeah,
I'm back.
Mom would
So
agree with you.
the
Sucked.
internet
Yeah,
here at the hotel chose the moment that I went to the bathroom to just drop, so I had to reconnect to the internet.
I saw. Yeah, I'm like, I'm just talking with myself again.
And I took that moment to change my my subtitle because I can. Now that we're doing
There
that
you
now, it's
go.
actually kind of fun.
Yeah, you couldn't actually, Jen, when my hair started on fire, you couldn't actually tell because I fortunately it could have been terrible, but um, did you wash your hands?
Oh, I missed people. What's up, Mr. and Mrs. Pogo? Much love to you guys. And yeah, Susan, I we have been hanging
Hi,
around Matt and
Tia.
his fiery rolls too much. I agree. Matt
Notice
had a
how
good
he
night last night,
avoids the
though.
"Did you wash your hands?" question. He's like,
Oh, Matt just went from like setting fire alarms off with his amazing dice rolling skills to having a little bit too much to drink last night at the party and was having a lot of fun. Matt really enjoyed himself yesterday, but we did have to ban him from going into public because he was going to go into a store, and we were like, "Yeah, that probably should be a no go."
"Oh, and Tia, your ebooks were sent out to the email address that was given to me. So just make sure that they get that you just follow the link and claim them, and then you should have the book as well as the magazine, which is huge and full of stories and articles as well.
I've been so out of it. I can't remember if you sent me mine or not. I have to go back and look.
I sent them to you at the day of. I think you're the one that didn't
Probably.
redeem then because I'm looking at what's
Yeah,
been redeemed and what
because my
hasn't
brain
been.
is getting dead. I'll do that tonight.
Okay. Mariah, I have New Avalon book second Zomba. Zom- oh, wow.
Apocalypse.
Zompocalypse book, Witches of Destiny book, psychological horror. I just started. Darkest thing I've ever
Excited.
written in urban fantasy. I was playing with the idea of and a dystopian future book without AI breeding out humans who evolved to control society.
Nice. I do want to point out, like, out of all those, I'm really excited about the psychological horror one she's working on because that's a big push for her. Like, I've been trying to get her more into horror for years, and that's awesome to see. I'm partial to all those books because in some way or another, I'm actually in a lot of those books. Uh, Especially this Apocalypse book. Like me personally, and as me, I'm in that one, and it's a lot of fun. If you haven't read that, that's an amazing.
Janet was her eyebrows in the front part. Oh, ouch. Yeah, we had somebody in chemistry class. You know how they have the little showers so that if anything ever gets in somebody's eyes, you immediately run
Chemical
for
wash
the safety
stations.
shower. In chemistry class in high school, somebody uh, Becky was sitting around, and we had this thing we were supposed to pour. It was a highly inflammable substance. That was the entire point of it. Was that you? And he made like quadruple checked. Like, okay, you open it, you pour it into the thing, you close it tight, you put your cork in, don't let it sit. And she sat there with it open for like 5 minutes or something at her table, and then like poured her stuff, and then lit her Bunsen burner, and just Becky was on fire. And fortunately, she was right next to the shower thing, so they like shoved her in and got her done. But she was just kind of
No,
crisp
Becky was
looking for a
distracted
little
because
bit.
someone looked at Becky and said, "Becky, look at her butt. It is so big." And then,
Okay,
oof, sorry.
it's okay. We have some. Oh, hi Pogo. Thanks you. Hi Tia. Hi Mariah. Mr. Pogo isn't well at the moment. Doctors found a dark mass on her. Oh, Mrs. Pogo isn't well at the moment. Doctors found a dark mass on her chest. She's having more testing.
I'm
I'm
so
sorry to hear that.
we love you guys a ton. And of course, if there's ever anything you guys need or you need to talk to someone, definitely hit us up, please.
Yeah. Hi, Susan.
Yeah, you guys will definitely be in our thoughts for sure, like 100%.
I'll get some candles going for you. Wait till after the show, though, because I want to be able to focus on them. Um, yeah. Dash the van got on fire. I got you. Ooh. Mine, speaking of, I'll light a candle for you. That's exactly what started my hair on fire. I melt wax. I like myrrh. So I have wax melts going constantly with myrrh. So my apartment smells like myrrh. But when I light a candle for someone, I do it separately. And I had my hair down and was walking by, and the candle wasn't surrounded by anything. And I was leaning over to set a soda over here, and it just whoosh. And I
Yeah,
was
just
just
like
like,
that scene in Wayne's
everything
World
was,
where like they hold up the lighter and the guy in front of them, his whole head catches on fire and he's like turn around like what's going on and the fire everywhere.
like, yeah, but I patted it. It only took, like, it only took out a chunk about like this big of my hair, though.
Well, there was just so much other
But
hair there that you don't notice.
there is once it's been trimmed up a couple times, and you can't really tell. Any my sister's like, that would have been all of the hair on my head. I'm like,
My dad, actually, my dad and my brother both were both firebugs, right? My dad always built our campfires. He wouldn't let anyone else do it. Well, one year, he's having trouble getting it to start because it had rained, and I think I was like 11 or 12 years old. And he's like, "Okay, everybody stand back." I had to pour a lot of like lighter fluid and like he had starter fluid, he had all this shit in it because he thought he was going to need all this stuff to make it catch and actually burn because it wood was a little bit soaked, not too bad, but he wanted to burn, like I guess burn all the moisture out so it would catch. But he misjudged, and he never misjudged, so it was like a once in a lifetime thing. But he's leaning over and he doesn't move back fast enough, and the flame is expansive. This flame reached almost 15 feet, and it burnt his eyebrows and part of his beard in the front, and just off. And I never seen my dad like shaved without a beard in my life. He had to shave his whole beard and wait for his eyebrows to grow back. So he started wearing a ball cap even when he went to work and pulled it low, so no one would know that he didn't have eyebrows because he refused to draw any on. And then my brother, everybody knows what a crack lighter is when I say a crack lighter. It's a really shitty square looking lighters, and you can screw the fuel line to make the flame go like stupid high. Well, my brother was obsessed with these, and he got one that was it's so big, like I can't even put my fingers on the camera, like this big, like a giant sized one. And he got this little screwdriver and was messing with the fuel line. He's like, dude, look at this. I'm thinking I can make a straight up torch. And this was before torch lighters existed. And he goes to light it, and the flame, just the whole top of the lighter, like it explodes. The top of the lighter exploded the metal piece off across the room, embedded it into the wall, like it embedded it, and the flame just went. And also his eyebrows. He, he just lost.
The family without eyebrows.
I've never burnt my eyebrows off. I've singed my beard a little bit, but I've never burned my eyebrows off.
Well, only set my hair on fire, and that was a. It was scary. It was the
Yeah.
second time. Like it was. I've lived here, going on 20 years, and never had any issues before. But once COVID hit, I once accidentally I emptied an ashtray
Here we go.
and didn't realize it wasn't out of the way. And so it started smoldering, but the garbage is underneath. There's a blanket in front of it, and it's underneath a tea tray. And so it wasn't until it was really on fire that I noticed. And so I'm like throwing all my drinks at it and putting things out, and I got it out. And then I fanned out the flames from under the smoke from under there, but my whole apartment, so I'm going, and all my windows are covered with tapestries.
Right.
So I have to go and try to open them and pry something
Where's
open.
the window?
And I couldn't find Hinata, and I was going crazy. Like, where's my cat? Where's my cat?
Mhm.
Yeti was bitching, walking around. Hinata, since I'd cleaned out the air from underneath there and there was nothing else going on, had just crawled underneath and was sitting where the garbage can used to be. In like the cleanest place.
I have definitely done that.
Have a good
Last time
lunch
it was here, when we
and
first moved here, it happened,
love
and
to.
that's how it happened. It wasn't that bad, but the really bad time was right not too long before we left the other apartment, and we were all sitting around smoking. And I didn't realize it was like my ashtray was smoking. I thought it was all out, and I threw it in there a little bit later. All of a sudden, it
That rancid plastic and cigarette butt burned together between the trash bag and the.
is acrid as fuck.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good word. I forget to use it.
It's one of my favorite words, acrid. I don't know why, but I've always loved that word. It's one of my words.
Your words.
Yep. Mine, damn it. You can't have
It could be a words with friends word too.
it. Could be, yeah.
Or not words with friends, Wordle.
I'm an
It could be
asshole.
either.
I don't
But
play words with friends anymore because I'm an asshole when I play.
oh, my mom and I play it
I
frequently.
haven't played it now. It's been a couple years since I've played it.
We have so much fun with it though. Like we're both really competitive, but we also love it. Like we love to see somebody get a good word, no matter which one of us it is. So it's always like,
I am too, but a lot of people refuse to play at all with me anymore for a while. So I gave it up. I do miss it. It was fun.
my nephew's getting his ass kicked by both of his grandmothers, so he refuses to join in games with me. But like mom and I are 500 doesn't happen all the time, but it high 400s to 500s happen frequently.
Yeah.
Our games are usually, it looks like somebody was playing with Legos. They're little locks all together, laddering off of each other. So it's really hard to get a
A
big word
beautiful board.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Like
like we made a cube with like 3 holes in it.
God, for some reason, my brain just went to the film series, The Cube. I don't know why. You just said The
Excellent.
Cube, and I'm like, The Cube.
I love that. That was a great series.
They're making
Once set
part
my
four.
desk on fire while doing.
Oh,
The
she did
podcast with
too, it
her.
was hilarious. I mean, scary, but it was hilarious.
Raz, you're dangerous to have
Yeah,
around.
I am. I know, like, infinitely. Even virtually.
The fact that we're having campfires makes it even scarier.
Yeah.
Oh
Ah,
no.
I
Oh
love the campfires. That was really fun getting a chance to get back into that because, we used to do it on Right all the time, but it was the schedules. That was the hardest part when you're on a writing server is trying to get it everybody's schedules because 'cause they'll be like, "Oh, well, if you do it on this day," and then we'd move things, and then the couple people we moved it for would be like, "Oh, something came up," and they would just never come. And then you had to exclude people because they couldn't do the day we switched it to, and then it was either and then we tried the same day, every month at the same time, and that also went poorly. So it
yeah,
sucks because, like, we were doing this, like, back in the beginning, like, there was some upwards of, like, in the high teens of people just it would take hours to get through everybody and to go through it all. It was amazing, and then it just got smaller, and now I think it's just easier to do it the way we're doing it doing it now. Hopefully, we can get some of them to come over and do some with us.
yeah. You apparently also made her spew Dr. Pepper on a brand new keyboard.
I mean, I say some fucked up shit, so
There's there's somebody on a podcast that I watch that I swear his goal is to see like he's the chill dude who just sits there while all these other people are talking. And then he'll just drop a comment out of nowhere. And I swear he waits to drop his comments until at least one of them has a beverage in their mouth.
no, yeah, I would
Because
see
I
that on
have
purpose.
seen so many snorts and just like spit takes and shit of people dying.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun.
It is
I,
fun. No, we had tortured different people a little bit, like, I'll be honest, like, she got a lot of the brunt, and, like, for a while, it was just me and Dark and her, and, like, we would when we first started doing, Cards Against Humanity, it was really fun to make her it didn't matter if we won or we lost, like, we won because we got her to say a lot of terrible things because of the cards, and, like, she got the run into that, and then when we started doing our Five Nights at Freddy's run, we would make her actually play the game, and we would do commentary just because she got, affected by the jump scares more than we did, so she was, like combined, I'd say Dark and I were like Howard Stern, and she was our Robin. That's kinda how that dynamic worked out. If you're
okay,
Howard.
I've been reading Injustice, so I was like, now which Robin was it? My brain is full on DC at the moment. So
I
I'm
I'm
like,
on
there's so
record,
many Robins.
I'm
They
largely
all die.
I've always
They
been
all
largely
die.
anti-DC, like, I've even since childhood, like, I've always loved Batman, but honestly, most of the reason I love Batman is because of the HP Lovecraft mythos that, like, move over into Batman, and the fact that he doesn't have superpowers, he's just this guy that's trying to do what he thinks is the right thing, even when it's hard, and I always loved that about him. But most of DC, I've never clicked with Superman ever. I've never liked Superman ever. And, like,
Yeah.
when you don't like Superman and he's kinda like the poster boy for DC, it's makes it tough. But I like the weird stuff, like Justice League Dark. I really love Swamp Thing, like, that's my number 1
I,
DC obsession is Swamp Thing.
I'm really hoping to see him come back. Because he,
Yes?
he he was in Justice. And wait, oh no, I know he's coming back with this. They're making a movie for him with
Oh, yes.
Gunn's new
After they
announcement.
botched that TV
They're
show, it was actually really good. I didn't watch the TV show because it got canceled because they got screwed over by Warner Brothers, and, I never watched the show because I was pissed, but I heard it was amazing.
Yeah, no, Gunn is if y'all haven't heard, if you're into the DC stuff, James Gunn is doing a huge reboot of the entire DC
Yep.
universe,
I'll actually look I like
combining
it now.
I think like the comics are going to be somewhat tied into it. I can't guarantee that for sure, but I know the people who are voicing and acting in the movies are also going to be doing the video games and the animated series so that it ties in that deeply as well. So
Oh, yeah.
I don't
I'm really
know.
excited
It
about it.
Marvel had their moment, and I like them both. So I'm not gonna,
I've
Marvel's
always
still
been
doing stuff,
more
but
Marvel leaning, but I also love Image because I love Spawn. Spawn's like a long time passion of mine. Violator, I love that stuff. But of course, my favorite comic book hero is the Tick. The Tick is my number one personal favorite hero. So like there's always a struggle there because the Tick gets the short end of the stick all the time. How they just canceled the new TV show recently. So well,
there,
not recently, last year.
if they might because
They're supposed to, I've heard. I've heard that's one of the
because
ongoing plans.
people have discovered, and this is something that I heard a little while ago too, that really struck with me. Um, all of the best superhero movies that have come out since like the 80s have been directed by horror directors or
Yeah.
people who are they haven't just directed one or two. They are known for being horror directors. They've been brought in and they make the best goddamn superhero movies
Yeah.
ever because they have the fluid universe thing going on. They know how to deal with it. They
Look
know
at
how to let
what
things
Gunn did.
float here and there.
Gunn did a lot of horror, like, the movie he made that had Nathan Fillion in it, Pam from The Office, it was called Slither. Slither is amazing. Like, I love that movie, it's so good.
Yeah, okay. Um
Look where Sam Raimi
truthfully, truthfully, Raz had me come to the podcast to do other things. I met and connected with some awesome authors there that I still talk to, but I see most of them succeeding and I'm still, well, here. You know what? It's okay that you're there. You're writing
yeah,
because you should see the amount of rejections that people get, they're talking about. And it's just like, don't worry, it'll get picked up.
for every
You
one
just
thing
might
I
not have had
do
the wrong place to submit it to because they have so many little tiny technical rules. We were talking about this with, I think, Steve, wasn't it?
yep, yep, all the
Um,
things they intentionally do to fuck you about not even getting looked your shit looked at,
yeah, the
'cause they have
tiny little formatting things so that they can get out of like 500 submissions, they can
to.
throw 200 of them away without even getting past the first page.
Matt and I were talking about this the other day too, because he asked me, what that process was like with the rejection versus what it was like for acting, because he's interested in doing like more act, not just Han acting, but actual acting, like voice acting and like screen acting and stuff. And I was telling him, I was like, there's a lot of rejection in acting. The difference in acting and the acting world in general is like when you go in, you're sitting in front of people, you're seeing their initial reaction to what you're doing. So as you're going, you can kind of refocus and tailor. And sometimes they'll even say, hey, let's try that again, but do it this way. With writing, man, you're just basically sending something off to the ethers and hoping. 9 times out of 10, you won't even get a rejection letter. No one will contact you, is how that'll happen. And then you'll get a rejection letter. And if you do, 9 times out of 10, it's just, we're not going with it. Not what was wrong with it or what you could have done better. Nothing, no feedback, just sorry. So, like, it's bad because it's in person. Rejection's in person a lot of the time with acting, or even on the phone at least. But with the writing, it's very impersonal. And because it's so impersonal, I think in some ways it hurts more because it's like, oh, I didn't even want a phone call or an email most of the time. Like, what am I doing? So
Yeah,
it's weird.
you have to seek out the publishers that work for you and um particularly for books it depends on
Yeah,
like we had Curtis on the Clutch the other night and he just got his own imprint with Weird House Publishing. He's been working with them for a long time, and his imprint is very niche. So they're only planning on releasing like what I think 4 books the first year, maybe something like that, and then between
yeah,
like 4 to 6 a year at that point. And they're a part of Weird House who publishes other things, but that it's for very specific types of writing and very specific writers. And there are some people who that's just how they do it.
yeah.
That's the kind of shit
I
that they
mean,
write. So now there's a place for them to turn it into. But a lot of the big calls, yeah, you don't hear back from them. Or if you do,
right.
it's a little form fuck you.
And then you have people that do things like with Fractured Mind, like kind of like how he goes through and he sets up like the Cthulhu Mythos books that
Stefan.
the one yeah, Stefan. I didn't know if I should use his name or his company. I didn't know what was gonna
Yeah,
best
no,
promote
he's
him in that
he's good.
situation.
Yeah, yeah, no, I promote Fractured
I love
Minds,
him,
Stefan Lemire.
and the way he does stuff, like the way he does stuff too, is also very different than a lot of other ones. But I also know he went through like the ringer a lot with other things before. He was just kind of like, well, I know how to do this myself now, and I kind of want to help other people that are in that same situation. And like I've learned a lot from him just doing that one anthology. Like he's taught me quite a bit. I love that guy. I still hear from him.
Oh,
Like I know you hear from him a lot, but like still usually like once every other week or so. Like I'll get a little message from him. We'll talk for a minute, but he's
yeah,
taught me a
oh,
lot.
he's great. Yeah, he'll be on one of these days too. He's just got a lot of personal
I
shit
can't wait
going on
to
in
have
his
him.
life
Yeah,
right now. But he's great. Once you start working with him, he will stay in contact with you, and
It's family, like, it just feels it's
yeah,
coming into it in the beginning, it's a little bit like, okay, they're super professional. Like this is like, I was a little intimidated at first, like coming. I was like, what did I just get myself into? I'm over my head. And then it was so simple and calm and chill and so easily explained. It's like, oh, I got a spot open. You want it? And I'm like, yes, please. Like it was different than what I had been doing in the past. And it was a breath of fresh air. And of course, one of our only sponsored publisher, like officially sponsored, Facor is also like that was another breath of fresh air because they do a lot of anthologies. They're really cool with your work. Like Patty's amazing. Like I went through so many bad situations with indie publishers, like some of the worst. Even like a really big named indie publisher fucked me. And I don't blame anyone in particular, like, anymore because 'cause I'm just over it and things happen how they happen, and, I'm in a better position now than I was then. So, it happened for a reason, but at the time, man, like, it destroyed my ability to want to write or to think, "Why am I a writer? Like, what why am I doing this? I'm working on this shit." There's a space of, like I'm just being told there's gonna be, like, 3 years before they have room to release my next one, or they release 1 or 2 but don't edit them at all, and they come out terribly, and then money's missing and, like, weird shit. I've gone through, like, publishers just up and like, "Oh, we're gonna close our doors, by the way. Sorry about your luck. I know we have a contract, and we promised you all this shit, but we're closing our doors. Bye." I've been that too, and it was such a struggle to get through that and then find all these amazing people I'm doing now. Even with Kyle, he does his own publishing thing sometimes, like, through, like, Reddit and stuff, like, he does a publishing thing. Like,
yeah,
meeting up with him and then Natalie, who had her own there for a while, and now she does the my brain just died again. Chilling Tales for Dark Knights. Now she does, like, the content stuff there, like and then, of course, Stefan and then just all this stuff it just happens. But when it does happen, like, you suddenly realize you've got 1,000 opportunities where before you had none for years, and it
yeah.
was so depressing you didn't want to write.
It was a complete and utter accident that I ended up in the first Morlar from the Mythos book. Like, I don't even know how I got invited to the group. I had had nothing published or anything, and I got put in the group. I got published in an anthology, which means that I immediately networked with the like 12 other people who were also co-authors with me, and then we all network out from there, and you get to where you're talking to these people and, oh, this person is with this publishing company and this person is with this one, and so you get to meet a lot more and have a lot, you can talk to the people who write for them and say, hey, if I pitch them this kind of an idea, is this the right thing for them? So they can just kind of let you know off the bat, like, no, that's not really their style, but this place might take it, because they've
Right.
dealt with all these other, everybody. Eventually, you reach a point where, and I'm not at that point yet, but I'm at a point where I can ask somebody most of
I
those
feel like
things.
I'm, like, getting
So,
close to there, but I'm still not yet there. Like, I did a really awesome podcast, Jamie Broomfield's podcast, where she just has a lot of writers on. We were in the same circle, we knew a lot of the same people, but she does romance and, like, paranormal romance, like, that kinda stuff. I don't. If you guys know me, I don't. That's not what that's not what I write, that's not what I do. And we got into this big conversation where it's like, "Yeah, we decided that there's no anthologies that have ever focused on just Thanksgiving, and it's gonna be paranormal romance. Do you wanna join it?" You basically have to write, oh my god, I'm trying to remember the name. Like words are just dying in my mouth today.
both of
A
us.
novella. I basically have to write a novella. That's the length that I'm required. So now suddenly this year I find myself writing an urban fantasy with a romantic lean. And I've
Novella's
never done this.
about 20,000, 15,000,
I think it's like 20 or 25, something like that.
2025. Okay.
I gotta go back and check, but I mean it's like novella length, and I'm like, oh. So I had just been like kind of finding my footing with urban fantasy lately by doing a lot of things and even a short story I published with Patty. And it went really well and people loved it. And now I'm designing this whole urban fantasy series. And I found out that Eric Asher, which Mariah also knows, um, the Dresden Files, Iron Druid, I found out that those are all classified technically as paranormal romance. I always thought that they were just urban fantasy, but nope, they're actually what's considered paranormal romance for guys. That's what all that is. So I'm like, well, that's what I've been writing. Well, that's what I've been gearing towards. So like, so now I've calmed down a little bit and I've kind of rethought what I needed to do. I've just got to make a Thanksgiving theme work. So that's a whole.
Yeah, pull
But
your
it's
pennies
fun.
up and write.
Yeah.
It's good. I have a whole folder of you should be writing photos with like all of the Marvel heroes. I have Neil Gaiman, of course, and a couple of different Hannibal ones that are fun. So
I wanna get one of, like, the inspirational poster with a cat hanging on something that's, like, hanging there. I wanna get one of those, and on the bottom right, "Or I'll stab you in your sleep," just to, like, further motivate me to want to write. It'll be a picture of one of my cats, because it'll be more personal. Yeah, I didn't
yeah, I
know it
think
either. That it blew my mind. Like, I literally found that out on that podcast with, Jamie because 'cause I've been looking at some stuff, and she confirmed it all and gave me all the rest of that information, and I'm like, "Wow, I didn't know paranormal romance for guys existed and that they just mostly called it urban fantasy." Like, "Alright, that works."
I just learned that now.
Yeah,
I
like, it blew my mind. I've been reading Dresden Files for years. It's one of the ones I go back and read frequently. Of course, the next
I
episode I was talking about also, that's the same falls under the same heading.
I thought you had to have like shiny vampires and strange high school for witches or something like that to be
It blew
a.
my mind. But I mean,
That
it
sounds
falls
terrible, but
but if you think about it, it firmly falls under the speculative fiction category that horror falls under, where the focus is that you're telling a story, and stories have love components sometimes. It's just the way these guys do their love components. It's not that, like, we say it's for guys, like, jokingly, 'cause guys don't understand romance or haha, whatever. I just don't write it. I understand it kinda. Kinda. But they
I
tell the
don't.
story that's so good that, like, bringing the romance into it, you're telling a story. You're just telling a good story. And you don't focus on just the romantic because there's so much stuff happening and so many plots being woven that it's easy to not realize that a lot of the big focal parts are romances involved in the drama surrounding that. But, like, when that got said to me, I was able to go through now and, like, just chop it all down into sections and see what was what. And I went, "Holy shit, that's right." 'Cause I I've been reading paranormal romances for years and loving them. It was a blow, but a good one. It was a good learning experience. But that's
Yeah,
the kind of
I
weird shit you get yourself into when you start writing again, making connections, and meeting people and not saying no. Like, that's the biggest thing for me why I always have so many deadlines. Someone offers me a new opportunity, and I don't think to myself, "I don't have enough time to do this." I say, "This is an opportunity, and I have to do it. I'm never gonna go anywhere." So, then I'm just a nervous wreck all the time, which is its own problem, but I figure a couple of years of doing that, I'll be okay, and then I can just breathe and write.
and yeah, gotta just keep writing, sending things, editing them. Keep a spreadsheet so you know what you've sent where in what format.
Just keep swimming.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Nadine.
Sorry you had a rough day at work. We're here for you if you'd like to talk about it, or if you wouldn't, we're still here for you.
I feel like one of these Sundays, we need to get Nadine in here. Like, we just need to, like, abduct her and, like, bring her on the show for a little bit because she's around, like, all the time, you know what I mean? Like, we love Nadine.
We love Nadine a lot. Yeah, so you're gonna have to come and join us someday, Nadine.
Definitely. That'd be
You
awesome.
don't get a choice in the matter.
Yeah, we're just gonna abduct you one day.
Just keep spinning, spinning, spinning.
Yeah, yeah. Contracts, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's in a very unique situation.
Speaking of contracts, my hair has its own contract with PBDC
Yeah, I knew you were gonna go into that as soon as you said my hair.
because Texas saw me in a on Facebook talking about something else with my hair down and was so thrown off by what I look like without my hair that it required
It's okay.
its own contract.
Kim Kardashian and the insurance policy she has on her ass.
Yes, we will find you.
No, 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 Nadine. I'm gonna just show up, all right? Because that's not that bad of a drive for me with all the podcasting gear at your job, and I'm just gonna park out in the parking lot and be like, "Okay, it's time. The world is ending. The podcast has begun."
Don't
And that's
ask, just get in the llama.
yeah, get on the
I pull
llama.
that up, but I don't know
That
where it
we'll
is.
take the llama to the
Oh,
panel van, and then we'll just, we'll do a show.
yeah, I can't switch over there just yet. We'd have all sorts of issues if I tried to pull that up right now. Oh no, I'm pushing buttons. Don't stop, Gary. Stealth. Shit,
The
forgot
red
my name.
candy-like history eraser button. Can Stimpy hold out? No, I can't. Space Madness was my favorite Ren and Stimpy like episode of all time.
I like that one. That for some reason the dramatic reading of that also reminds me of the episode of The Tick when what's his name?
Arthur.
Arthur. When Arthur gets stuck in the comfiest chair in the world.
I don't think I've ever officially done my Tick voice on this show, but I've got to now
Ooh.
because like I love the Tick so much. And one of my favorite lines, I got a couple. One is Arthur, gravity is a harsh mistress. But then the best one is the city, oh my city, your toast shall never go unbuttered again.
What about
These lines.
Spoon?
Oh yeah, you have to say spoon.
I had a WoW character that his name. Oh. I've used it for one of my characters. His name was he was a hi. So in WoW,
Our word.
I
Words of word.
I had the fuck. I still can't remember the race. The ones that kind of had tentacles and came from space,
Mhm.
and his name was um Squid Can. It was, and he had a theme song, and so he'd walk around, and I had it macroed, and everywhere I'd go in, and every single channel I'd play it, and it was, "My name is Squid Can the Mighty. Yes, I am, and yes, yes, I can."
So
And
I'm gonna like I'm gonna
but
say
he
something
shouted out Spoon all the time too. And I've had pets where you could name your pets named Spoon, so I'm
yeah.
walking around with Spoon,
I used to be a super huge vampire.
Draenei.
Nice. I was a big Vampire the Masquerade LARPer for years. The last time I did was just a couple years ago, and I've been tempted to go back again at some point. But I play Malkavians a lot, and like I always get challenged by someone. Like one time, I played Silent Bob as a Malkavian for like a year. Like I just pretended I was Silent Bob, Jane Silent Bob. But a friend of mine was like, "You need to do a superhero, and you love the Tick. Can we do some kind of costume and have you actually play a Malkavian who is the Tick? Like you are the Tick?" And I'm like, "Okay." It happened that I had a Space Ghost Coast to Coast uh, costume that had the built-in muscles. So I painted it fabric paint. We painted it blue and put the antenna on the top and stuffed the upper part of the shoulders a little bit because I got giant shoulders anyway. And I literally showed up in character, and I did this for months. I just ran around and just played the Tick in a city full of vampires, and it was I was a vampire too, obviously, but it was fantastic because. But then I was the version of the Tick that could actually suck people's blood, and I would even like pull out the straw and everything as a joke.
I never got to LARP. I started with a LARPing group
Oh,
and then it fell apart because they were sanctioned, and
yep.
like we were Lincoln and Omaha,
Yeah,
and
we were
there was,
sanctioned. We were the same extension group of you then, just some of the Ohio versions.
yeah, we couldn't, like, there became a line we couldn't cross, and it was between Lincoln and Omaha. So like our parties got cut off, and there were only like two or three people here in Lincoln, and we couldn't do anything with them. So
They fixed that like years ago in Ohio with a lot of the sanction stuff, and now, actually now it's worldwide. You can go anywhere and bring your sheet along. Just lift the DM that like other countries even, and just go to another country, another state, whatever, and bring your character sheet and just come character in a completely other place now. Like they revolutionized. Like they started doing a lot of it in Ohio, but now it's just all the new regulations. It's just everywhere. It's all one game, one world by
that's
night.
cool.
It's really cool. Like you have to pay dues, like like fee, like it's $5. It's really inexpensive. It helps with like the hosting fees, food for everyone, money back to the organization, hosts a lot of the bigger events. But like literally, but like even back then though, we would jump from Dayton to Cincinnati to Columbus to Fort Wayne, Indiana, and like there was this big where we would just jump in other games, same characters and just bigger storylines. Now like the websites keep up with all that, and some of it's done on Discord, like especially during COVID, like the whole thing went to Discord. So you got to meet all these awesome gamers from everywhere.
I wish I could do that. I'm
There's red bead games. Have you ever heard of a red bead game?
mm,
You are LARPing 24/7 for a period of time. Could be a week, could be a month. You are always in character. You're at home sleeping, someone calls you in character, you got to be in character because if you get too many of your beads taken away from not being in character, you're kicked out of the game. So
oh
like
wow.
you basically lived your characters for periods of time. And this was like to the crazy level of it that I'd heard about it and wanted to try it. And one summer we spent the whole summer in red. The whole summer was a red bead game. Like the last like week or two of school leading up to like the first month of starting back at school was all one red bead game. And after that, I was like, holy shit, I've had this experience now. I'm good. I didn't do another one after that. It was intense, dude. It was.
Yeah,
I
that'd
thought
be a little bit too much for me, I
I
think.
thought all weekend D&D sessions at my mom's house was tough, but that was it was amazing. A lot of great stories and friendships that still exist today came out of that, like struggles. But it was intense, man. I don't recommend unless you have a lot of free time and no life and you want that experience once in your life. Otherwise, stay away. I don't even know if they do them anymore, but like it was a popular thing in the 90s.
I might all magic and monsters out on it and
Monsters and Mazes.
thank you.
Welcome. Great Tom Hanks movie, by the way.
Tom Hanks is in that?
He's the main character.
It, oh,
Very, very like the first thing he ever did young, Tom Hanks.
okay. I'm just I his older career, he's just Tom Hanks in everything.
He's Tom Hanks.
So, but I
Yeah, no,
loved that movie
he
when I
is
was a kid.
so
Like it's
young. Unless you go back and watch it now, like being really familiar with him, you didn't know it was him. It was so understated. And the role was like not a Tom Hanks role. So it's easier to not even realize that he's in it. But oh my God, he's amazing.
I suppose it would be hard to say, I I do similar things, but it's never been for a LARP. But being in roles for stuff. I
Yeah,
This was one of my favorite things about the Malkavians is, everybody you got to pick your insanities or whatever and stuff. And a game that I didn't get to play in, but I was friends with the ones who were playing it, had one of the most brilliant Malkavian characters ever. She thought she was whoever she read about in whatever the latest book she read was.
nice. I
She thought
love.
she was the main character. So, well, it was great. They were trying to they'd try to feed her books basically to get her to be things that they needed in the
Yeah,
party.
nice.
But she got a hold of some of Anne Rice's stuff and thought she was
Thought she was.
the mother. Well, she thought she was what's the God? I'm terrible tonight. The mother of all
Gotcha.
vampires. Yeah, and that she could fly, and so she was like, they had to keep keeping her from jumping off of buildings and shit because she,
But isn't
yeah,
it? It's funny though because a vampire was pretending to be a vampire.
yeah,
That's like the
yeah.
takeaway here,
That was
fella.
that was brilliant. They were like,
You
we're
know,
they tried giving her Alice in Wonderland, and that was just a clusterfuck
that would go wrong.
because, yeah,
I once played a hacker that was Malkavian that was obsessed. Like he would sweep for bugs in every room. Like he was convinced like the CIA was after him. Like every sound he heard if he was outside, he swore it was the helicopter, would go hide, and you'd never like you would see him like towards the end of a session. But the character had the eat food merit because he was a hacker. He had to keep up his hacking lifestyle and appearance. So no one realized at first that he was even a vampire at all. They just thought he was human that was crazy and knew that vampires existed. And he was a technomancer, is what they thought. But nope, he was just a Malkavian that learned a little bit of thaumaturgy to make it seem like it was technomancy to fuck with people, to hide the fact that he was a vampire because of a conspiracy that was against him. And I would do nothing but drink Jolt Cola and eat Twinkies the whole all games long. And it was funny because I fucking hate Twinkies and everybody knew it. But someone said to me that if you're going to be a real hacker, you got to eat Twinkies. But it was said in character. And then my character's like, fuck, I need to get some Twinkies so they don't figure it out. So every session, Jolt Cola, Twinkies. And a lot of the games, like every game I've ever played, like with the big groups, especially the sanctioned ones, at the end of the night, everybody gets to vote, and whoever everybody votes for gets extra experience that night for just going above and beyond and playing their character. The entire time I played that game, I got the extra experience every fucking.
mine. I had a great character, and it was when we were going to do that one with the Omaha folks. So I got to meet the group and watch them, and they were interesting. There was one gal. It wasn't just vampire. It was the entire White Wolf world.
Yeah, World of Darkness. Yeah,
Yeah, so there was like a mad scientist, I think she was a fae running around who kept like she wore like big glasses, had her hair all wonky, wore the doctor's white coat, and had like a bunch of test tubes that she carried around that were full of like I think it was like Mountain Dew and Pop Rocks or something, but they would like she'd open them and like they'd fizz over because she'd tip it in as she was doing it and be sucking them down. She claimed they were like algae samples from different ponds that she'd been checking out. And
Epic. I love
one
that.
guy who is just a really broody vampire who went by Lovecraft, and he would like everywhere he went in the room, he would sit perched on the back of a chair or a couch, like with his knees up to his shoulders and his
Oh
hands
yeah.
between, just sitting there. And he didn't talk much, but he brooded. He was a better brooder than Batman. I mean,
Oh yeah.
uh, right. The closest thing I ever got to LARPing was online role playing, but I didn't even fit there. I had these long ass posts that filled whole chat rooms so people would ignore me.
Yep.
You're me.
Yeah, and
I
me. Her and I were in a lot of the same groups of that, actually. A lot of the same groups.
yeah, I'm somebody who people are like, and what do you do? I do this. I force people when I'm like, oh, and then I'm gonna do it.
Here's
But I
another
make
19 paragraphs that you're gonna fucking sit there and read.
people got when I DM, I force everyone to spend between half an hour to an hour every session sitting around and having what ironically now for us is called
Yeah,
campfire
I do that
time.
too. Yep.
And it's when the pizza shows up or whatever, you sit around, your characters are not in combat, your characters are not plotting something, you are in character having dinner with the rest of your party. And you have to stay in character the whole time and just talk about what you're
Yep.
doing so that the people who spend most of their time just rolling dice and think that's all there is about it have to actually interact as their character.
Oh yeah.
And it got to
You're gonna see
where
a lot of that soon.
I started having players that would bring in like special meals because like we were doing one that took place. They all picked it up too as the ones that DM'd with me that lived with me. Um, but they would we would organize the meals so they would fit with the campaign sometimes. Like when we were doing one on a pirate ship, and the guy who was DMing had decided for campfire time, he went and bought like an entire smoked salmon and all this stuff that we would have, and it was crazy. Like he probably threw down like 50, $60 for us to have a seafood style on a pirate ship dinner. And
Yeah.
it was just very, very cool.
That is cool as shit, man. I love that theme stuff. I got into that because of friends of mine in high school, that they weren't haunters, but they knew I was a haunter, so I already was in characters. And they knew I love D&D, so they're like, dude, you gotta. And these were friends that were like 5 and 6 years older than me. They just knew me like through my sister, just because most of my friends were all older. And like I actually had to get written permission from the game master that ran the LARPs, from my mom, because I was so young to go and start like doing the LARPing. And of course, my mom was cool. Fuck yeah, you can go do that kind of a thing. But like, it was a really cool experience, like to be a kid. It was like when I started as a kid playing D&D. It was the same thing, but now I'm doing it a little bit older with LARPers.
Oh, I love
I've
D&D.
always wanted to get, like, deeper into the D&D LARP. I've done it a little bit, but, like, I want to do, like, the actual, like, week-long camping things where, like, you're in character, like, the swords, the I wanna do that so bad, like, full on. And I got friends that do this and even make money on it and doing it for a living, some of them. Um, and I've been wanting to try that, and right as I was thinking about it, COVID happened. And then it's coming back now, like, the events started being planned, they're coming back, but, like, now I'm like, "Fuck, I'm old and poor."
Oh, and speaking of LARPing, well, costuming. Okay, so I'm trying to get press passes, but first I need to arrange to have a partner to come with me to a, an anime con in Omaha.
I'm bummed that I
And
don't live
so
closer 'cause I would just go. I would just be like, "Fuck it, let's go."
need to get a camera and I need to get a cameraman of some sort. So I'm working that out right now. And if I can, I'll get us in and stuff. But so I'm thinking like, do I want to go and just, you know, be me or do I want to actually try to cosplay? And I'm trying to think of things like because it's anime, so that restricts a lot of what I would cosplay as. and it has to be something that I can actually do with like this
Man,
and
like,
stuff.
right off
So
the bat, I'm thinking, American H. McGee's, Alice the Madness. I don't know if you remember that, like yeah, American H. McGee's Alice, and then The Madness Returns, the sequel. It's a video game series, but it's also been anime, and it's been a lot of everything. It's a goth horror, almost Lovecraftian at times version of Alice in Wonderland. The game started, like, back in the '90s, like, so, like, there's been, like, a couple games, but, like, that whole series is pretty messed up, and, like, I'm just seeing you, like, with the hair, like, in the ribbon, and, like, that could be pretty
the
fun. Because the
the
queen, it's the queen character in that game that I would go with, I would think about for you.
the one that I thought of, and I'd have the glasses, but I have an eye appointment in 2 days, so maybe I can get some contacts too or something. Um, was doing the gal from, and it's horrible that I don't know her name, but I haven't watched Bleach for a couple of years. But the captain with the braid that goes like down her front.
I've never seen it.
Okay, well there's a girl who her
Mm,
hair starts getting braided right here.
okay.
It like hangs behind her ears, and then she has this long braid down the front. I don't know why. Apparently, it's better when you're sword fighting to have your hair in front than all over the place, so they can't grab it. Makes sense to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Like a lot of people don't ever get right in any martial arts or fight movie. You Hair is a liability when you're in combat.
That's what I loved
Um,
about it was that the Walking Dead Telltale games because you're training this little girl to survive the zombie apocalypse, and there's a section where you have to explain to her, "You're gonna have to cut off all your hair because if a zombie grabs you, they can grab you by the head and just yank you in." So there's this whole like sad scene of them on a train car while it's moving, and him just basically cutting all her hair off and explaining why. And I saw that and I was like, "Why don't movies do this? Why?" Like
and
this, it was the first time I remember seeing it even in a game, and I was just like, "Holy fuck! Like this is what you should do."
yeah, they don't explain it, but they do it in like Vikings, for example. The
I've
women
seen a little
always
bit
have
of
their
that show.
hair, they do a lot of braiding and extra stuff to just so they can keep their hair, but keep it out of something that can be used against them.
Right.
Right. Let me tell you how he was in a game and you called him. That sucked. LOL. I'm 4 states away. He would answer his phone and say something completely fucking off the wall, and I would be like, what the fuck? Or me or me to get
Well,
angry and hang up. Then he would call later and explain.
yep. I would just pretend it was whoever my character would normally talk to on the phone, like randomly, like while the game was going on, I would intentionally answer and just have not the side of the us side of
Oh,
the conversation, not just not one that matched that conversation.
I thought you meant like just normally. Like she'd
Oh
call
no,
you at
like when I was
home.
LARPing the fuck.
Okay,
No,
see,
I do that
okay.
normally anyway.
All right. I got you. I thought like it meant when somebody called you like at home, you'd wake up in the middle of the night and be like, yeah, and it'd be your mom, and you'd have to be like,
No,
I
she
don't know,
meant me specifically.
you specific. Okay, that makes more sense. Raz in particular. Yeah,
It's a very
I can
me.
see that.
It's always been a me thing, I guess. I don't know what is. I know saying the word man a lot. I'd say it so much I don't even notice it, but I know that's a me thing. Being
I
Canadian and
picked
saying
that
a
up.
boot is a me thing. Yeah. I have a lot of
I,
me things I don't recognize are me things until other people point them out to me, and then I just keep doing them because I've always done.
I'm picking up Razisms. We have to figure out. I think that our brain is lost in shipping. Like we were both.
Yeah, neither of us clearly have control over it, like, for, like, months now. It's been months.
The one
Yeah,
time I did it to him, I had like 30 minutes asking if I had a
because
stroke.
it wasn't normal from that end of things. That's not how that worked. Yeah,
It was
I think they just the bunnies stole our brain and took off with it, is what it is.
season. Yeah, the bunnies of chaos. The bunnies of chaos. Oh, I have that,
The bunnies of
but
chaos are coming.
I need you to do something for me with that too. By the way, tell you after the show.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of things that I'm like I need Raz to do
It's
because
weird that
Raz
you
has
brought up the
cool
me
voice.
doing the voiceover for, like, the copyright stuff and the other
Yeah,
things.
something like that.
I was literally just thinking about that, was it late last night or early this morning, and I was gonna bring it up to you like, "Hey, I wonder if it'd just be easier if we just did this and play it real quick." And then, like, literally, like, I'd forgotten about it, and then you brought it up. I'm like, "Holy fuck, that's what I meant to ask her about earlier
I,
today."
I've been waiting to ask you about it because I thought about it, and then there's been sass and stuff.
Well, I mean, that's easy though, because that's literally just me recording my voice, doing that, and then laying the voice over. That's like a 5 minute. 10 minutes at best job. Like that kind of thing is super easy and doesn't take an effort or time to do. Because I'm not
Yeah.
actually having to edit. I'm just recording something because I've got my settings all good now and just dumping it on there and sending it to you.
Yeah. And you're going to have to help me set up something because I'm still not able to record in stereo. Well, no, I finally figured it out, but then and you guys don't care about this. I was just
Yeah,
having
fuck
some
it.
problems with my recording stuff. I got all this new recording equipment and then I had an issue and now I'm working on it.
Yeah, the process.
Our brain, we share it. It goes back and forth, but between the
Yeah.
dresser people and the bunnies of chaos, it's just lost.
Yeah, and then I send it
My
back, like,
brain,
super stoned, like, stoned more than
600
usual sometimes,
damage.
and takes a week for it to work right afterwards.
I don't know what that one's about, but there we go. Just putting that up there.
My settings are crispy. They are a little crispy, I'm enjoying it. I'm finding new settings for, like, the board all the time, like and I've got this shitty board, like, I don't have the nice, like, Mayonacaster. I've got the shitty $15 board I found because I had almost no money to put into it and got it, and I love the board, but I wanna switch to the Mayona or something because, like, I want a better board, obviously, I'd sound even better, but I've gotten this sound out of a $15 board, so I guess it's not
Gotcha, Mariah.
a loss.
You are crisp and clear. I am not so much, but I'm working on it. As soon as I figure out things, I've been learning so much. This has been this huge experience for me over the past like 2 years. Just getting into, well, before that, even like James started me out on podcasting, doing the movies and beer thing, and doing all the just stupid, silly movies that nobody else would watch because they only wanted to watch the like big blockbuster hits and stuff. So I
Yeah,
got started that, and I started looking at things, and then I was writing, and then I met Raz, and then he was like, "Oh God, it's my brother! Holy
yeah,
shit! How did we not know each other?"
yeah.
And then I've been
There was
brought
even there
here.
was even
Come
some
over.
weird connections, like weird family connections in the very beginning that we thought there was actually a possibility that we were related there for a little bit till we finally, like, started running it all down. But I think the jury's still out on a couple of those extraneous, family members.
Yeah, but we've had to kick the same people out of guilds on different video
Yeah.
games for the same reasons.
And the thing is, some of those people, she would know as well, actually. We'll have to have that
Yeah,
conversation one night.
I
On
I
Campfire,
know.
'cause she'll be on for Campfire.
Yeah, I had to boot Healy. Um, that was a fun one. We were fighting. We rolled dice in game to see who got to kick him off the who got to kick him off of forums, who got to kick him out of game, who got to kick him off of the DKP list. Like all the officers are rolling. It was super fun.
You're awesome, TF. No one's told you that lately. You're awesome. Everybody's awesome.
Glad to have you all here tonight too. Yeah.
So,
It's
I
nice
know we
time to
haven't been looping it back
unwind.
into, like, mental health topics on this show because we're trying to do it a little bit more, like, just kinda hit things as they go and let you guys bring up the topics that you wanna talk about, and then we're just filling space and talking to you in the meantime. Like, this is really your show, guys. Like, this is your show. We're just running it and guiding it and filling space.
Yeah.
That's
And if you ever want to be on, let one of us know. Or
yeah.
let Susan just private message either one of us or PBDC Collective on Facebook or something,
Sometimes
wherever
we
you
have
listen
people reach
from.
out with us. Yeah, we've had a lot of cool people too, man. Like Jar Jar was fucking awesome. I love him. We had Slippy on before. Aki
Jar
has done
Jar is at a con right now running panels.
yeah.
So
We get cool people to come and hang out. Like Mikey's joined us before. I mean, we've gotten a lot of people, and it's good to just know you're not alone. Like that there are people just like you dealing with a lot of maybe not your exact issues, but similar things enough to connect with, and that makes a difference. Like for
and
me,
there
I'll
are
read
people who
something
give
I'm
a
going
shit.
through in a book, and like I'll be reading this book, going, "Oh my god, this is what I'm dealing with," and then suddenly I've fallen in love with a new author because that author connected to me without trying to connect to me. It's like they left it there for me to find at some point when I needed it, kind of a thing.
Okay, Mariah. Well, are about to head home so we can all talk or type on Discord. We're hitting 3 hours right now, like this exact second.
Oh, shit.
Bing.
It has been 3 hours.
So, I think it's about time
The
to
show
end
itself,
for the
yeah,
night. Cause yeah, we'll be around for Discord and stuff if you need anything. I'll be up for a couple more hours at least. I
same.
have some shit I need to get done. But it was great having everybody here tonight, and I'm gonna try to make it so that we get these just 3-hour shows going in if we can
Yeah.
try to enforce it, if this is a good time for everybody.
Yeah, let us know if this works out for you guys, or should we do, like or an hour later, so if you're more night shift, like, we're trying to make this good for you guys. But, of course, you can always go to YouTube and listen to the playbacks, and you can't talk to us live, obviously, but if you're having a bad day and you remember something we said and you wanna hear it again, bam.
Yep, we'll have everything set up over there for you. So, good night, everybody. Love you. Take care.
I don't know, set the world on fire. I don't know, a lady